my own space station. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction, so please don't attempt real magic. The results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 76: The Abnormality of the Red Cult. But, on the other hand, since it's what a country needs, I can help with the ideological work. It's just that he has one quirk: he has to take his sister everywhere. If you don't transfer his sister along with him, I'm afraid he won't go with you, Zhang Yuankui added. Hearing this, Duan Bing's brow relaxed. So that's the situation? Oh, right. How many mutants do you need? Zhang Yuankui asked earnestly. What do you mean? Duan Bing asked. I mean, would you mind taking one more mutant? Zhang Yuankui asked with a smile. Are there other mutants here? Duan Bing asked in surprise. Sometimes he would visit several settlements in a row and not see a single asymptomatic case. But here, they were asking if he would mind taking an extra one. I'll tell you quietly, his sister is also a mutant. And, exceptionally powerful, Zhang Yuankui said softly. Hearing this, Duan Bing clenched his fist in excitement. Mayor Gong, who was next to him, was utterly confused, feeling like it was his first time in Mei Lin. Is this true? Duan Bing asked. What are you saying? Would I lie to you about this? You'll know if you try it later, Zhang Yuankui said, taking a sip of tea. If that's the case, then there's absolutely no problem transferring both of them back to the military and political department, Duan Bing said confidently. Alright, then there's no problem. I'll call them in, Zhang Yuankui said, getting up and going out soon after. Shen Wengang followed Zhang Yuankui in. Why is it you again? Shen Wengang asked first. Although he had already decided to go, he couldn't lose face. Brother Xiangang, we apologize for our bad attitude earlier, Duan Bing said, standing up. There's no need for apologies. I already said, it's impossible for me to go with you, Shen Wengang said. Is it because of your sister? Duan Bing asked, believing he had grasped the crux of the problem. That's right, Shen Wengang replied after a moment of silence. That's easy to solve. You and your sister can go together, Duan Bing replied. Shen Wengang pretended to be surprised, looking at Zhang Yuankui and saying, Chairman, what's this? Xiangang, since they've agreed to let you go together, I suggest you go. Going to Kyoto is much better than staying here with nothing to do, Zhang Yuankui said, pretending to do ideological work. That's right, Duan Bing echoed. Luo, what do you say? Shen Wengang asked. Wherever brother goes, I'll go, Luo replied. Then alright, Shen Wengang relented. Great, that's wonderful, Duan Bing said happily after Duan Bing left with the others. Mayor Gong asked, Chairman Xianxia, what exactly are mutants? Why do the people from the military and political department seem to have found some kind of treasure? Mayor Gong asked curiously. Mutants are also a type of infected. It's just that they don't zombify after infection, which is similar to asymptomatic carriers. The difference is that mutants gain enhancements in all aspects of their bodies, leading to increased physical functions, Zhang Yuankui explained. I see, Mayor Gong said, seemingly understanding this had nothing to do with him. As long as the settlement didn't have any problems, the other things didn't matter. Anyway, he couldn't manage them. Xiaolin, Xiangang and Qianluo will definitely undergo background checks after entering the military and political department. Help them create a brand new identity and send the information to them. Dongfang Chen said after everyone left. Yes, Commander, Xiaolin replied. Another week passed in the blink of an eye. The red-clad sex enforcers that they were waiting for never appeared, and the finch lurking in the Huiling settlement didn't send back any useful information either. Inside Niu Xingwang's office at the Huituang Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Dongfang, you said it's been so long, why haven't the red-clad sex people come yet? Niu Xingwang asked. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to gather any further information on my end either, Dongfang Chen replied. Are you saying that the information from last time was wrong, or that the red-clad sex people discovered something and then didn't dare to come? Niu Xingwang said, the information from last time shouldn't have been wrong, otherwise Mei Wenhu wouldn't have admitted it. If the red-clad sect cancelled the operation, then what reason caused them to cancel it? Could it be related to Mei Wenhu's death? Dongfang Chen thought for a long time but couldn't find an answer. I can't figure it out for now. Let's not worry about this for now. How is the preparation work going on the mercenary guild side? Dongfang Chen asked. Everything is ready, Niu Xingwang said. Alright, send people out to post the announcements today, and we'll open tomorrow, Dongfang Chen said. Okay, Niu Xingwang said, and went out to get busy. Dongfang Chen opened the control panel through his digital eye just now. Xiaolin had sent a message that the production bay had been built. Xiaolin, next, start building the mounting bay. At the same time, the production bay should fully produce worker bee robots, Dongfang Chen ordered. Yes, Commander, the level 1 mounting bay can mount one air-to-ground spacecraft. With the air-to-ground spacecraft, it can realize the transfer of materials between the space station and the ground. Currently, the total number of worker bee robots is 100, and the current capacity limit of the space station is 500. Under the condition that the production bay is fully producing, it will take about 1 week to complete the production of 400 worker bee robots. However, the construction speed of the mounting bay will not be the original 7 days. Because as the number of worker bee robots increases, the construction speed of the mounting bay will continue to accelerate. Comprehensively calculated, it will take about 4 days, and it will be faster and faster as it goes on after the mounting bay is built. Building the quantum communication bay will shorten the time to 1/5 of the original, and it can be completed in less than 2 days. Chapter 77 Discussing Emergency Plans. Xiaolin, how is the construction of the Power Research Lab in the base going? Dongfang Chen asked. The Power Research Lab was completed 3 days ago, and we are currently constructing the Aircraft Production Lab, Xiaolin reported. Good, the Power Research Lab can produce small batches of aviation engines. The Aircraft Production Lab only needs to be completed around the same time as the space station's Quantum Communication Lab, because the aircraft needs the assistance of the Quantum Communication Module to achieve ground cruising. Once the aircraft is manufactured, the business of the Chamber of Commerce and the Mercenary Guild will no longer be limited by region, and can be carried out in great strides. Kyoto Parliament Building, January 15, 2055. Honorable members, you have all read the emergency plan draft. If there is anything that needs to be added or adjusted, please express your opinions, the Speaker said. Mr. Speaker, further decentralization to local areas is actually a disguised form of regional autonomy. While this method can enhance the flexibility of each settlement, it may also lead to situations where they do not obey the Parliament's management. To put it bluntly, if individual bases secede, and others follow suit, our Hua nation may end up falling apart, said Suo Tunhua, commander of the Northeast Military Region. This problem will certainly arise. But conversely, what if we don't decentralize? Everyone is counting on the Parliament's assistance. Can you provide assistance to everyone? Do you have that ability? Said Zhong Zhenyu, commander of the Southeast Military Region. Zhong Xian, what are you saying? Suo Tunhua asked angrily. Don't think I don't know your little thoughts. You've just had too much milk and can't leave your mother, Zhong Zhenyu mocked. Bullshit. When it comes to the ability to suckle, who can compare to you? In half a year, how many times did you say you withdrew defenses to the north? How much territory did you give up? Can anyone be more of a coward than you? Suo Tunhua retorted. Bang, bang, bang. The speaker banged the gavel. Alright, stop arguing. Now is the time to discuss the emergency plan, not for you to bicker. The two glared at each other and sat down. Councillor Suo's words are not without merit. If the Parliament loses control over the local areas, the consequences would indeed be very serious, said He Jinghu of the Security Department. This issue is inherently dialectical. If we try to grasp everything at once, we will end up with nothing. I believe that regional autonomy outweighs the disadvantages. People must first survive before they can seek development. By then, if there is no one left in the local areas, who are we going to manage? In my opinion, the essence of managing the local areas is managing the people in the local areas. Preserving people is preserving the local areas. Let everyone survive, and then seek a unified method of management. We must eat one bite at a time, and walk one step at a time, said Wu Shengrong of the Land Administration Department. The councillors nodded in agreement. Does anyone have any other questions? Seeing that everyone agreed, the speaker continued to ask, Councillor Yao, I would like to know, how feasible is it to grow food in a completely artificial environment? Have any related experiments been done? Asked Lu Yuanhang of the Water Administration Department. Councillor Yao Wangkang, Minister of Agriculture, regarding crop cultivation technology in a completely artificial environment, our Ministry of Agriculture has cooperated with the Aerospace Administration on similar projects. Councillor Liu has the most say in this regard, Yao Wenkang said. That's right. The Aerospace Administration has successively conducted 24 crop cultivation-related experiments in space over the past decade, including multiple such as sowing, grafting, artificial pollination, and breeding. The experimental results are relatively successful. If planted in an underground base, the effect should be better than in space. However, all of this is just speculation, and no related experiments have been conducted in an underground environment due to the tight schedule. Liu Fiang of the Military Administration Department replied, I believe that for the sake of insurance, we need to conduct thorough experiments on several key systems that people rely on for survival, such as the air circulation system, the microbial detection system, the agricultural system, and the water circulation system, to ensure that everything is foolproof. Lu Yuanhang of the Water Administration Department suggested. Agreed. The councillors expressed their opinions, then this matter will be led by the Military Administration Department. With a coordinated power of multiple departments, to start the relevant tests as soon as possible, the speaker said. Yes, Liu Fiang, Minister of the Military Administration Department, replied. Okay, next item on the agenda, regarding the electricity issue, I have some questions I would like to ask Councillor He Jinghu, said Yan Huamiao, Minister of Energy. Oh? Please speak, said He Jinghu, Minister of Security. How much authenticity is there in this geothermal power plant construction plan sent back from abroad? Tian Huamiao asked. The geothermal power plant construction plan they were talking about was actually the plan used by Xiaolin to entrust a foreign joint construction team to build the Antarctic Supercomputing Center. After obtaining relevant information, the foreign intelligence personnel of the Security Department secretly transmitted it back to the country. In fact, various countries did not impose relevant blockades against Hua Nation, because they all believed that this technology flowed out from Hua Nation. According to relevant intelligence, in mid-last year, a joint investigation and construction team composed of multiple countries successfully built the world's first geothermal power station in Antarctica. The plan used is exactly the one in our hands, He Jinghu, Minister of Security, replied. Chapter 78 2055 ARC Project. Tian Huamiao nodded and stopped talking. There is also a question of whether we should make this emergency plan public. According to the current plan, the underground base has a full capacity of 1.2 million people. And our whole country currently conservatively estimates that there are still about 600 million people. If we want to accommodate the entire population, we need to build at least 500 such underground bases. Xiang Yangping of the Ministry of Civil Affairs paused and continued, assuming that all the technical plans are made public, do the local authorities have the ability to build underground bases? Moreover, the public panic caused by the disclosure of information may lead to riots and wars in various resettlement camps. If it is not made public, how many such bases can we build in a year or two relying on ourselves? 1 or 2? Then where will the rest of the people go? This is a very sharp question given the current situation. It is still possible for the parliament to concentrate its forces to build 1 or 2 survival bases in a year or two, but it is unrealistic to build hundreds. If the parliament has difficulty completing the work, the local authorities have almost no ability to complete it. In this way, almost all resettlement camps will be wiped out within 2 or 3 years after the outbreak of the ecological crisis. The congressman did not speak. Hu Kengying, the director of the Ministry of Health, said, I think it is necessary to make the technical plan and construction technology public. At least there is still hope of survival. Otherwise, within 2 years, almost all the people of whole country will die of starvation. But in order to avoid public panic, I think the news should be passed on to the highest level managers of each resettlement camp, and promise that if they have not built an underground base after the crisis breaks out, the managers will be allowed to bring their families into our underground base. In this way, the news can be spread out, and the stability of the resettlement camp can be maintained as much as possible. As for how many people will survive in the end, we can only leave it to fate. What I need to emphasize is that the focus of our consideration is no longer on guaranteeing how many people will survive, but to ensure that human civilization is not cut off. So who can enter the base? Who should survive? It should be those experts and scholars from all walks of life, as well as young people. They are the future. The congressman frowned, and it was obvious that they did not quite agree. Hu Kengying's proposal was too naive, and its implementation would inevitably encounter heavy resistance once the news is released. It will not be controlled by the parliament. An open secret will no longer be a secret. Furthermore, who will determine this list? Who should die? Who should live? And what are the criteria? You say you are an expert, and I also say I am. In the face of survival, no one will be humble, and in the end, it will still be chaos. Although Hu Qingying's proposal is too naive, the angle is right, and the inheritance of civilization is higher than survival. How about this? Let's release some of the news. The parliament will announce all the technical plans for building underground bases, and suggest that resettlement camps with conditions should start construction as soon as possible. Those without the conditions can jointly build with multiple resettlement camps, and inform each resettlement camp to use this method to deal with possible crises in the future. But let's keep the outbreak of the ecological crisis a secret for the time being. Yan Zhangping said. The congressman nodded in agreement. In this way, the parliament and the local authorities have formed a kind of complementarity. The two goals of the inheritance of civilization and the survival of mankind have achieved coexistence. The emergency plan was eventually named the 2055 ARC Plan. For security reasons, the complete plan was only known to the 19 congressmen who participated in the meeting. Subsequently, as part of the 2055 ARC Plan, the 2055 Human Survival White Paper, which was formulated with a goal of guiding human survival, was printed and distributed to various resettlement camps 2 months after the end of the parliamentary meeting. This white paper disclosed the technical standards for the construction of underground bases, as well as a simplified version of the human life support system. At the same time, the military also began a series of intensive mobilizations. The entire southeast military region withdrew north and took over the peacekeeping mission in the northern part of the central military region. Along the Yangtze River, the southwest military region retained Sichuan and abandoned the 3 provinces of Nanjiang, Huiguang, and Bihai. The troops were transferred to Liaoning in the northwest region for rest. Subsequently, the southwest military region, the northwest military region, and the Northeast Military Region each transfer 2 divisions, a total of 60,000 people, to cooperate with the Central Military Region to start construction of the country's first large-scale underground human survival base, the Mosin Arc Base, in the uninhabited area of Mosin Gobi in western Xinjiang. March 18, 2055 AD. Hushan Province, Haizhou City, Madin Resettlement Camp, 21:30 in the evening. It was late at night, and everyone should have rested at this time. But tonight, no one is sleeping. Madin Resettlement Camp is located on an isolated island at the mouth of the Yangtze River. The only connection to this isolated island is a 2-kilometer-long bridge across the river, the Ma'an Bridge. Due to the lack of electricity, both the bridge and the island are pitch black. But even in such a night, looking along the night light, you can clearly see people moving on the bridge. To be precise, those are not people, but walking zombies. They walk very slowly, crowding the bridge. Have you contacted the military region? Zhuo Wenchen, the mayor of Haizhou City, asked. Chapter 79, Dead Rising. We've made contact. The troops are on their way and are expected to arrive in about 2 hours, the secretary next to him said. 2 hours. I don't know if we can hold out that long. Zhuo Wenchen looked at the densely packed zombies on the bridge in the distance and said worriedly this was the first time in months since arriving here that they had been attacked by so many zombies. Zhuo Wenchen felt uncertain. He didn't know how to defend against these zombies. Only some of the police had guns, and ammunition was scarce. The rest only had kitchen knives. Mayor Zhuo, I don't think these zombies are planning to attack us, the secretary next to him said. Oh? What makes you say that? Zhuo Wenchen asked. Think about it, if they really wanted to attack us, wouldn't they be swarming over here? 2 kilometers is a short distance, they'd be here in no time. But look at them now, they're just walking slowly. It'll probably take them over an hour to reach this side of the bridge. The secretary analyzed. Zhuo Wenchen nodded in agreement. It was a bit strange, but then again, zombies have no brains, everyone knows that. So you can't think about it with normal logic. The gate to the settlement was tightly locked, and blocked with stones on the other side. The people responsible for defending the city wall stared intently below, not daring to act rashly. An hour and a half later, the zombies arrived at the gate. They hissed and roared in low voices. Although each zombie's voice wasn't loud, the combined sound of countless zombies was like a surging river, thick and continuous, making people's eardrums ache. Sure enough, as the secretary had said, these zombies stood at the city gate and did not attack. They seemed to be waiting, not knowing what they were waiting for. Mayor Zhuo, do you think they might be waiting for the troops to arrive? The secretary asked. Don't talk nonsense. Do you think the zombies have become spirits? Zhuo Wenchen was starting to dislike this secretary. How could this jinx be so accurate? The secretary hurriedly shut his mouth and stopped talking. About half an hour later, Gunshots came from the other side of the bridge. It should be the troops arriving. The zombies on the bridge began to stir restlessly. They rushed frantically towards the other side of the bridge, completely oblivious to death. The gunshots grew fainter and fewer, gradually fading away, and the zombies became quiet again. What's going on? Could it be? The secretary was about to say that the soldiers had been wiped out by the zombies, but Zhuo Wenchen interrupted him. Shut your jinxing mouth. Zhuo Wenchen scolded. It was too dark. They couldn't see what was happening on the other side of the bridge. Half an hour later, the zombies ran back, and they frantically attacked the settlement. Unable to break through the gate, they piled on top of each other, layer upon layer, eventually forming a slope as wide as the bridge, and the zombies behind rushed madly into the settlement. No one could resist. The settlement's defenses were like paper, and it was quickly breached. March 19, 2055 AD, 3 a.m. The Madang settlement was breached, and all 320,000 residents perished. Yusa Province, Kunfeng City, Southeast Military Region Headquarters. Haven't you made contact yet? Zhongzhen Yu paced anxiously, shouting in the office. Not yet. The communications soldier lowered his head, not daring to say a word. Military satellites were still usable, and satellite phones could be used to make calls. This is outrageous. Outrageous. A force of 10,000 men just disappeared? What about the Madang settlement? Have you made contact? Zhongzhen Yu continued to ask for ease of communication. Most settlement headquarters were equipped with a satellite phone. No, the communications soldier replied. Commander, I have a bad feeling, the secretary said from the side. Go, send a reconnaissance company to take a look. Remember, if there is any danger, retreat immediately. Zhongzhen Yu instructed. He also had a bad feeling. Yes, the secretary obeyed and left. 5 hours later, Commander, something terrible has happened. The secretary rushed in anxiously and said, What's the situation? Zhongzhen Yu quickly asked. The reconnaissance company reported that the Madang settlement is empty, and there are many zombie corpses on the ground. Judging from the situation at the scene, they must have encountered a zombie attack, the secretary said. What about our people? Zhongzhen Yu continued to ask. On the opposite bank of the settlement, we found our troops' vehicles and weapons, and a large number of bullet casings remained on the ground. The secretary didn't continue. Clang. Zhongzhen Yu slumped into his chair. 10,000 people. That was his most elite force. Those children were still so young. At this moment, he was heartbroken in his heart. He was extremely reluctant for these children to go out and kill zombies. The casualties were too severe. But facing the settlement's request for help, he couldn't ignore it. But what was the final result? He fulfilled the sacred promise of protecting the territory and its people, but not only did it not change anything, it also sacrificed 10,000 fresh lives in vain. Why is this happening? What should be done? Zhongzhen Yu fell into an unprecedented dilemma. Report, enter, Commander. Commander Yan of the Southwest Military Region is here, the duty guard company soldier reported. Oh. Quick, invite him in. Zhongzhen Yu braced himself. Chapter 80. Zhongzhen Yu's shock. Brother Zhuang, guess what I brought you? Yan Zhangping's loud voice preceded him into the room. Old Yan, what wind blew you in my direction? Come, sit. Zhongzhen Yu stood up to greet him. What's wrong? You don't look too good, Yan Zhangping asked, noticing Zhongzhen Yu's expression. Oh, it's nothing. Is there something you needed today? Zhongzhen Yu asked, avoiding the question. Hey. Nothing really, just wandering around. I just got my hands on 2 bottles of good wine and thought I'd come over and have a couple of drinks with you. Brother Zhuang, spare me that, will you? Do you think I don't know you? You wouldn't leave your den for nothing. And you brought your own drinks, Zhongzhen Yu said with disdain. Let's go, let's go. Find a quiet place, get a couple of appetizers, and we'll talk while we eat. Yan Zhangping urged him to get up. No longer trying to explain, the 2 men sat down in a quiet room, with a few side dishes placed on the table. Yan Zhangping twisted open the bottle and filled both their glasses. Zhongzhen Yu seemed absent-minded, watching the whole time without lifting a finger. Brother Zhuang, you seem off today. Come on, let's have one, Yan Zhangping said, raising his glass. Zhongzhen Yu didn't say anything, raised his glass, clinked it against Yan Zhangping's, and drank it all in one gulp. Yan Zhangping looked at him, didn't say anything, and drank his own in one gulp as well. After a few rounds of wine and a few bites of food, Yan Zhangping finally got to the point. Brother Zhuang, I came to you today because I need your help with something, Yan Zhangping said. Speak, Zhongzhen Yu said succinctly. It's like this. Our southwest military region is currently withdrawing its defenses from the three provinces of Nanjiang, Huiguang, and Bihai, right? But there are still 50 or 60 settlements above ground, and we can't just abandon those people. So I was wondering if I could temporarily borrow your transport planes to move those people to a safe location as soon as possible. Yan Zhangping explained his purpose. Old Yan, do you think it's still meaningful to do these things? Zhuang Zhangaiyu asked in a low voice. What do you mean? Yan Zhangping frowned. What is the purpose of our proposed 2055 human survival white paper? Zhuang Zhangaiyu asked. These are two completely different things, Yan Zhangping replied. They are one and the same. Old Yan, I advise you, do less of this kind of thing in the future. Zhuang Zhangaiyu was getting worked up. Brother Zhuang, what are you talking about? Protecting the territory and its people is the duty of us soldiers. Are we supposed to just stand by and watch those people die? Yan Zhangping's temper flared up. Did you not attend the council's meeting, or did you not understand the articles? The documents have already been issued to each settlement. Their chance of survival needs to be earned by themselves. Why are you meddling in so many unnecessary affairs? Can you manage it all? Do you have the ability to manage it? Zhuang Zhangai retorted unpleasantly. Zhuang Four Eyes, I finally understand. Suo Tunhua from the northeast was right. You're just a coward. Yan Zhangping was furious. Who's a coward? Old Yan, I'm telling you, it's only because it's you. If anyone else said that, I'd beat the crap out of them. Zhuang Zhangaiyu stood up, pointing at Yan Zhangping. Then explain to me, when did the people's affairs become unnecessary affairs? Yan Zhangping asked, suppressing his anger. It's because you haven't experienced it. 10,000 excellent commanders and soldiers fell in the zombie frenzy, without even making a ripple. Zhuang Zhangaiyu said loudly, with tears faintly visible in his eyes. What's wrong? What happened? Yan Zhangping calmed his anger and asked in a low voice. Alice. Just yesterday, the Madang settlement in Haishao City was surrounded by zombies, and the mayor of Haishao City, Zuo Wenchen, asked for help. Tell me, should I send troops or not? I had the same idea as you at the time. What are we soldiers for? Isn't it to protect the people? But what was the result? All dead. All dead. All turned into zombies. Zhuang Zhangaiyu's eyes were bloodshot. He took a deep breath, took off his glasses, and advised, so I'm telling you, Old Yan, don't take on a task if you don't have the skills. Don't end up failing to get things done and wasting the lives of our soldiers. So that's how it is. Yan Zhangping understood. No wonder Zhuang Zhangaiyu seemed so strange today. Yan Zhangping walked to Zhuang Zhangaiyu's side and pushed him back into his seat. Then he walked to the opposite side and sat down again. He filled their glasses. Brother Zhuang, to be honest, I felt the same way before. Last year, I issued an order strictly forbidding anyone from going out on missions. It's not that we're heartless, it's not that we don't care about the lives of the people. But managing it is worse than not managing it at all. How do you manage it? If we want to win this crisis, we can't just rely on a rush of blood to the head, Yan Zhangping said, drinking a full glass and refilling it. But this year is different. I'll tell you quietly, just my Hanfeng Commando Company. Do you know how many zombies they've killed in the last 3 months? How many? Zhuang Zhangaiyu asked. 100,000. Yan Zhangping raised his eyes to look at him, reporting a number. How many casualties? Zhuang Zhangaiyu continued to ask. If casualties weren't a concern, eliminating 100,000 zombies wouldn't be anything. No casualties? Yan Zhangping smiled mysteriously. What? Zhuang Zhangaiyu stood up in surprise, staring intently at him. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Zhuang Zhangaiyu didn't believe it at all. Chapter 81. New aircraft. Believe it or not, it's up to you. There's no other reason for me to tell you this. I just want to say that you shouldn't take on jobs you're not qualified for. But as it happens, I have the right tools for the job. Yan Zhangping smiled mysteriously and took another drink. No way, you have to tell me how you did it. Zhuang Zhangaiyu sat down and asked impatiently. Alright, Brother Zhuang, let's not talk about that today. I came here to borrow a transport plane from you. See if you can arrange it as soon as possible. Yan Zhangping stopped there and changed the subject. Actually, he didn't want to reveal the secret of the equipment. After all, he only had 1,000 sets equipped so far. However, he didn't want to watch more soldiers go out on missions without protection and sacrifice themselves. So, he decided to reveal a little bit of information to him first. No way, you tell me how you did it, otherwise, no deal. Zhuang Zhangaiyu said. Hey, let me tell you, I don't fall for that. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'll go find the butcher from the northwest. Yan Zhangping threatened. The northwest butcher refers to Shen Tuzhanghao, the commander of the northwest military region. You. Fine. Okay, borrowing is fine, but you have to let me observe your Hanfeng assault team in person. Zhanghayu took a step back. If he really let him go to the butcher, then he wouldn't even get the soup. Deal, Yan Zhangping said happily. Commander, the ground-to-air spacecraft has completed its self-check and can be separated at any time. Okay, control the ground-to-air spacecraft to complete the separation and immediately transport the Queen Bee to Antarctica. Upon arrival, immediately start the supercomputing center upgrade mission. Yes, Commander, where are we now? Dongfang Chen asked. About to arrive in Yundu City, Xiaolin replied. Okay, send a message to Fanghe in advance to inform them of our route, so as not to cause unnecessary trouble. Yes, Commander. At the same time, in the Air Defense Command of the Southwest Military Region, report, an unidentified flying object has been detected over Yundu City. One of us, don't worry about it, the commander said. Yes, Yan Fangfang knew that Dongfang Chen was coming and waited at the airport early, but until the plane landed, she couldn't calm down. She wasn't excited because of Dongfang Chen's arrival, but because of the plane in front of her. This plane was completely different from the ones she had seen. The entire fuselage had a slender trapezoidal shape, narrow at the front and wide at the back, with very small wings. Its flight mode was similar to that of a helicopter, and it could hover directly in the air, but it didn't have a propeller. There were 3 huge turbine devices at the bottom of the plane, 1 at the head and 2 at the tail. The turbines emitted a dazzling blue light, but they didn't produce the huge roar and surging airwaves of other planes. The plane was already close at hand, but the sound was very small, as if it was quietly parked in front of her and hadn't started. Then, the 6 landing gears opened and the plane landed. The dozen or so members of the Hanfeng assault team behind Yan Fangfang looked at each other, not knowing what was going on. They were also immersed in this incredible scene. The cabin door opened, and Dongfang Chen walked off the plane with a smile. What's wrong? Why are you looking at me? Dongfang Chen laughed. This plane, where did it come from? Yan Fangfang asked, pointing at the plane. Your question is so funny. Where do you think it came from? Of course, we made it ourselves, Dongfang Chen replied. You didn't lit some alien civilization, did you? Yan Fangfang asked. That's right, Dongfang Chen admitted. TCH. You're such a braggart. Yan Fangfang didn't believe it. See, sometimes no one believes the truth. Where's your dad? I have something to talk to him about. Dongfang Chen didn't continue the topic and asked. He went to the Southeast Military Region and hasn't returned yet. Yan Fangfang said. Oh? Will he be back today? I don't know. Let's go back first, and then I'll call and ask. Okay, let's go then. The group split into several cars and entered the military region headquarters. Not long after, Yan Zhangping also returned with Zhanghayu. Hey. Why is Xiao Chen here? A rare guest. Yan Zhangping was a little surprised to see Dongfang Chen. This was Dongfang Chen's first time in the Southwest Military Region. Fang, take your Uncle Zhang out for a walk. He wants to observe the combat scenes of this Hanfeng assault team. Take him to see it. But be careful, Yan Zhangping said to Yan Fangfang. Okay, Yan Fangfang nodded and then said to Zhanghayu, Uncle Zhang, this way, please. Okay, Zhanghayu couldn't wait to leave with Yan Fangfang. How could he know that this departure would just miss the real Buddha, and Yan Zhangping was obviously doing it on purpose. At the moment, he didn't want Zhanghayu to get in touch with Dongfang Chen. Xiao Chen, what can I do for you today? Yan Zhangping asked as he entered the office. Yes. There's indeed a small matter that I want to trouble Commander Yan with. Dongfang Chen was not polite. Oh? Tell me. Yan Zhangping motioned for him to sit down and talk. It's like this. In a while, our base is preparing to recruit a new batch of people. I want to borrow a few people from you to train the new recruits, Dongfang Chen said. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82, Spiritual Summoning Ceremony. Are you planning to build your own armed force? Yan Zhangping didn't answer but asked instead. You could say that. Commander Yan, it's legal at the moment, Dongfang Chen replied. That's right, it's legal. Xiao Chen, have you ever thought about coming to work for me? Yan Zhangping switched to another question. Huh? Dongfang Chen was baffled. Commander Yan, Are you planning to poach me entirely? Dongfang Chen joked. Ha ha ha. Look at you, kid, I'm just saying. How about it? Consider it, Yan Zhangping laughed. Forget it, Commander Yan, I'm too restless and don't like being controlled. Dongfang Chen refused. It's okay, you can take your time to consider it, Yan Zhangping said, stopping there and not intending to force him. Then about borrowing people, Dongfang Chen asked. No problem. But we're just in a business relationship right now. I can't lend you people for free, can I? Yan Zhangping put on a money-grubbing expression. Of course not for free. How about 10 people for 2 months, and 100 sets of combat suits? Dongfang Chen stated his price. Ha ha ha. Deal. It's settled then, Yan Zhangping beamed with joy. But I have one more condition, Dongfang Chen added. What condition? Yan Zhangping was taken aback. Wrong po must go. Dongfang Chen said. Yan Zhangping pondered for a moment and replied, as you wish, then I'll trouble Commander Yan. I'll contact you again when the time is set. Dongfang Chen stood up, ready to leave. What, you're leaving already? Yan Zhangping asked. Yes. I have other things to take care of, so I won't disturb you any longer. Dongfang Chen smiled. Alright. Let's have a drink sometime if we get the chance, Yan Zhangping said politely. Okay, Yusa Province, Mazao City, urban area, development zone. A 10-man squad was searching within a factory area. Team 1 normal, Team 2 normal. Captain, situation, someone suddenly reported through the walkie-talkie. Everyone, converge towards Team 3's direction. The captain ordered. These people were mercenaries from the mercenary guild. They were wearing the Guardiana-type combat suits provided by the guild, and holding Guardiana-type laser guns. However, other aspects were relatively poor, such as the walkie-talkies, which were just ordinary handheld walkie-talkies. After hanging up the walkie-talkie, the captain quickly moved towards Team 3's direction. Those who arrived at the scene were stunned by the scene before them. In a huge wastewater pool, there were densely packed corpses. It was obvious that these corpses were zombie corpses. Their crystal nuclei were all gone. If it were just this, it wouldn't be enough to surprise them. What really surprised them was that all the zombies were in a state of climbing towards the center. The more towards the center, the more there were, and the higher they were piled up. And in the very center was a high platform, and at the center of the high platform stood a flagpole, with a blood-red banner hanging across the top of the flagpole. It looked like some kind of sacrificial activity had been held here. Report to the guild. The captain took a breath and said. Not long after, Zhang Yuankui arrived with people. Guild leader, it's here. The squad leader led Zhang Yuankui over. You guys go out first, Zhang Yuankui said. After everyone left, Zhang Yuankui transmitted the image to Dongfang Chen through his digital eye. At this time, Dongfang Chen had already left the southwest military region and was flying back. Brother Zhang, do you think this could be the Red Cloak Society's doing? Dongfang Chen asked, looking at the synchronized image. I think it's possible, Zhang Yuankui replied. I'll send the picture to Chu Zhangping and see if he knows, Dongfang Chen said as he spoke. Dongfang Chen had Xiaolin transmit the image. Boss, I haven't seen it before, but judging from the looks of it, it might be the spirit summoning ritual they mentioned. Chu Zhangping quickly sent a text message. What is the spirit summoning ritual? Dongfang Chen asked. I'm not sure about the specifics, but I roughly know that the person presiding over the ritual can give zombies consciousness and make them obey him, Chu Zhangping replied. No wonder it's called the spirit summoning ritual. Then, does that mean someone can already control zombies? Dongfang Chen asked. Yes, Chu Zhangping replied. Okay, you're busy. Contact me again when you have news about this, Dongfang Chen said. Okay, Brother Zhang. According to the information provided by Chu Zhangping, this is likely a spirit summoning ritual held by the Red Cloak Society. The person presiding over the ritual can control zombies in this way. Dongfang Chen told Zhang Yuankui the information he had obtained. Then that means the Red Cloak Society might attack humans by controlling zombies. Zhang Yuankui made a further guess. If it wasn't to deal with humans, there would be no point in the Red Cloak Society doing this. Very likely, Dongfang Chen replied. Damn it, these bastards are really inhumane, Zhang Yuankui said. Let's not worry about this matter for now. Let's wait and see, Dongfang Chen said. Okay, Zhang Yuankui also turned and left. Notice all lurkers, please note, from today onwards, the base will be open to receive the first batch of trainees. From the date of this announcement, if there are new people participating in the training, please register according to the prompts. Registration deadline, April 1st, 2055, 23:59. Attached, registration instructions. Chapter 83 Goodbye Gu Qingyi. After composing this message on the plane, Dongfang Chen sent it to all the sleepers. Sleepers scattered across various locations received the message simultaneously in the following half hour. Dozens of messages flooded back like snowflakes because the registration guidelines had already clarified the method and entry point, and the filing format was also made into a form. Everyone submitted their information quickly. Xiaolin, process this information and compile it into a list for me, Dongfang Chen said, too lazy to look at it himself, directly passing the task to Xiaolin. Yes, Commander. Dongfang Chen's decision to recruit new people at this time was also for a reason. He had been waiting for the completion of the base's power research and development bay and aircraft production bay. Only with aircraft could they have the means to travel. This way, they could bring the newly recruited sleepers from different regions back to the base now. The 2055 Human Survival White Paper had been promulgated for a full 2 months. The various settlements appeared calm on the surface, but were actually seething with undercurrents. Although the white paper publicly disclosed detailed construction information and supporting technical solutions for underground bases, seemingly hoping that the various settlements could develop scientifically and more healthily, but discerning people could see that the council was passing the buck. They might have already been abandoned. This viewpoint was gradually becoming the mainstream thought among the management of various settlements. Under this trend of thought, the development of many settlements began to deviate from the normal track, heading towards the dark side. At the same time, a miniature ground-to-air spacecraft quietly entered the atmosphere, flying towards Antarctica. Now that various countries were swept by the virus, no one paid attention to this visitor from outer space. The spacecraft landed next to the supercomputing center established by Dongfang Chen. From a close distance, it looked like an inverted safety helmet. The current scale of the supercomputing center was very small, and the structure was also very simple at that time. In order to ensure the joint construction team completed the construction, the entire plan was designed very crudely. The bottommost part was the geothermal power generation room. 10 heat collection pipes were drawn from the power generation room, extending directly downwards to the geothermal layer. The collected heat was conducted to the power generation room, and then converted into electrical energy by special equipment. The converted electrical energy was conducted to the supercomputing center's computer room above through cables. The computer room's area was only about 10 square meters, equipped with a ventilation system to prevent heat from accumulating in the computer room. After the spacecraft landed, the bottom hatch opened, and the newly produced Queen Bee robot broke through the ice and snow, drilling into the Earth's crust. Subsequently, the spacecraft hatch closed, started, and returned to the space station. This Queen Bee carried an important mission. It would incubate new bee ant robots here and build a brand new supercomputing center. Dongfang Chen did not return to Binjiang, but went to the Merlin settlement. The current Merlin settlement was different from the past. The streets had become lively, with countless people doing various small businesses. A scene of prosperity. The number of people in the mercenary guild was constantly increasing. With the support of the authorities, they borrowed equipment and weapons from the guild through loans, and then carried out several escort missions in the city of Moscow. They brought back a large number of instruments and equipment, thereby restoring some processing and manufacturing capabilities. A helipad had been built on the roof of the Huatuang Chamber of Commerce's backyard. Dongfang Chen landed the plane and entered the Huatuang Chamber of Commerce directly. Mr. Dongfang, long time no see, Gu Qingyi? What are you doing here? Dongfang Chen asked curiously when he saw Gu Qingyi coming up to greet him. President Niu appreciates me and asked me to come over to help, Gu Qingyi said generously. That's good. Dongfang Chen nodded in response. Are you here to see President Niu? I'll take you there, okay. Under Gu Qingyi's guidance, Dongfang Chen came to the president's office. Brother Niu, you're living comfortably now, Dongfang Chen joked as he entered the door. Mr. Dongfang, why didn't you give me a heads up beforehand so I could welcome you? Niu Xingwang hurriedly stepped forward to greet him when he saw that the visitor was Dongfang Chen. We're all family, no need for formalities. Dongfang Chen waved his hand, indicating not to mind these things. After walking to the sofa and sitting down, he continued, it's been a few months since I've been here, and things have changed quite a bit. Now the affairs of the Chamber of Commerce and the Guild are on the right track. Every now and then, some things are transported back from the city. I've also acquired some, Niu Xingwang said. Dongfang Chen nodded, saying nothing more. Niu Xingwang turned to Gu Qingyi and said, Qingyi, go ahead and get busy. I'll call you if I need anything. Okay, President Niu, then you guys chat, Gu Qingyi said, closing the door and leaving. Brother Niu, is there anything unusual? Dongfang Chen leaned closer to Niu Xingwang, pointing with his chin, and asking if there was anything unusual about Gu Qingyi. I haven't found anything yet. Are you overthinking it? Niu Xingwang replied, I don't know, I just feel like something's not quite right. After the death of No Culture, the enforcers of the Red Cloak Society have been slow-tracked. I suspect there's more to it than meets the eye, Dongfang Chen said. Could someone from the Suiyang settlement have leaked information? Niu Xingwang asked. That's possible, but even if information is leaked from the Suiyang settlement, it shouldn't be sufficient reason for the Red Cloak Society to cancel the operation. After all, their understanding of the information is limited. Dongfang Chen ruled out this possibility. Chapter 84 Dongfang Chen is attacked. That's strange. Niu Xingwang was also confused. It's been quiet lately, almost unnaturally so. The tasks from the Mercenary Guild have also been very smooth each time. Normally, smooth is a good thing, but too smooth is a bit suspicious, Dongfang Chen said, deep in thought. Are you suggesting that the Red Robe sect might be plotting something in the dark? Niu Xingwang asked. Correct. Today, a mercenary squad from the guild discovered an anomaly in an abandoned factory in the city, Dongfang Chen said. What anomaly? Niu Xingwang asked. In a huge pool, there were thousands of zombie corpses piled up. We suspect someone performed a spirit summoning ritual, Dongfang Chen explained. What's a spirit summoning ritual? Niu Xingwang asked. The specifics aren't very clear, but we generally know that this kind of spirit summoning ritual can achieve control over zombies, Dongfang Chen said. So, you're saying the Red Robe sect has mastered a method to control zombies? Niu Xingwang boldly guessed. That's a possibility, Dongfang Chen replied. That's terrifying. Niu Xingwang was dumbfounded. Yes. Anyway, you still need to be extra careful. I brought a lot of decorations this time, and these decorations all have listening devices installed. Arrange for them to be placed in various locations within the Chamber of Commerce and the Guild, covering as much area as possible, Dongfang Chen instructed. All right. What about Gu Qingyi? Niu Xingwang asked. Let her stay at the Chamber of Commerce for now, but still be careful. It's good if there are no problems, but if there are, it's better to have her under our watch than to be completely in the dark, Dongfang Chen said. Okay, Niu Xingwang nodded, but make sure to take precautions. Wear your combat suit at all times, and don't take off your badge, Dongfang Chen emphasized. Understood, Niu Xingwang obeyed. Alright, you get busy then. I'll go take a look around the guild, Dongfang Chen said. Do you want me to accompany you? Niu Xingwang asked. No need, I can go by myself. Dongfang Chen refused leaving the office. Gu Qingyi was standing not far away. Mr. Dongfang, are you leaving? Gu Qingyi asked when she saw Dongfang Chen come out. Yes, you don't need to see me off. Go be busy, Dongfang Chen replied politely. Then, take care, Mr. Dongfang. Gu Qingyi gave a slight bow and replied with a smile. Dongfang Chen nodded and walked out of the Chamber of Commerce. He was still very satisfied with Gu Qingyi's style of doing things. She was a very professional secretary. Her handling of people and affairs was perfectly measured, not too much and not too little. She was also very intelligent, efficient in her work, and didn't let emotions get in the way. If there really were no problems, she could become a very good assistant to Niu Xingwang, sharing a lot of his workload. The distance between the Chamber of Commerce and the guild wasn't far, only about 500 meters. Dongfang Chen walked alone on the streets of the ancient town. The streets weren't wide, there were many pedestrians on the road, and many stores had opened one after another on both sides of the street, selling daily necessities, snacks, and mobile stalls shouting along the street, creating a lively scene. This feeling was as if returning to before the apocalypse. Dongfang Chen took a deep breath, his eyes filled with nostalgia. Although people were still trying to make their lives better through hard work, he knew that even such days wouldn't last much longer. No one could reverse the ecological changes. The molecular light film would be formed in just over 2 years. By then, the light would weaken, plants would wither, the oxygen content in the atmosphere would decrease, and the temperature would drop. Perhaps new components would appear in the air, all of which would be detrimental to human survival. Heaven and earth are ruthless, treating all things as straw dogs. The cruelty of ecology is fully revealed in this. He stood on the street, stopping and lingering. He wanted to take another look. Perhaps he would never see it again. What he didn't notice was that at this moment, there were 7 or 8 pairs of eyes staring at him in the crowd. Taking advantage of his distraction, several people kept approaching. Bang! Suddenly, someone hit the back of Dongfang Chen's head hard. Dongfang Chen came back to his senses, turned his head to look, and realized that he was being attacked. Everything went black, and he fell down in order not to attract attention. Two more strong men came up, one on the left and one on the right, propping up Dongfang Chen's arms and walking towards the alley. After the sun went down, the streets began to quiet down with the electricity provided by the guild. The street lights on the streets were all lit. Did you find him? Niu Xingwang saw Zhang Yuanqi on the street and asked anxiously. No. Zhang Yuanqi also looked anxious. That's strange. Where did he go? Niu Xingwang muttered to himself. President Niu, did the boss really say he was coming to the guild? Could you have misheard? Zhang Yuanqi asked. Could I have misheard that? Niu Xingwang gave him a glare. Could it be that he went back? Zhang Yuanqi said. The plane is still in the backyard of the parking apron. How could he go back? Even if he went back, he wouldn't even answer the phone, would he? Niu Xingwang replied. The distance from the Chamber of Commerce to the guild is only 500 meters. It should take a maximum of 10 minutes to arrive. This means that the boss had an accident during the day. Zhang Yuanqi analyzed. Go, bring all the people who were doing business nearby during the day over here, and ask them one by one. I don't believe that a living person can just disappear into thin air. Niu Xingwang thought that Zhang Yuanqi made sense, so he said, okay. Chapter 85 Clues and Analysis. The people from the Chamber of Commerce and the Union all sprang into action, knocking on doors from house to house. Through mutual coordination, they quickly gathered all the nearby small vendors' Chamber of Commerce hall. Everyone, don't panic. The reason I've asked you all to come here so late is because there's an urgent matter that requires your help. We need to find someone. Whoever can provide a clue, I will reward 10,000 yuan on the spot, Niu Xingwang said, instructing Gu Chengyu to distribute the photos to everyone. Upon hearing that there was a 10,000 yuan reward, everyone's eyes lit up. The person in the photo is who I'm looking for. Carefully recall if you've seen him before. The time frame is around 3:25 p.m. this afternoon, Niu Xingwang continued. He was wearing a blue-black jacket, light brown casual pants, and black hiking shoes. He has fair skin and long hair. Niu Xingwang added more information. Ah, I remember, a woman in her 50s exclaimed. Oh. Tell me, Niu Xingwang said excitedly. I did see a young man walking past my stall this afternoon, who looked similar to what you described. The young man was dressed very neatly, so I paid extra attention. He stood on the street for a long time without moving. I asked him if he wanted to buy something, but he ignored me. Later, he fainted for some reason, and then a few people came over and helped him away, the woman recalled. Oh, right. I also have a bit of an impression. It seems like someone did faint on the street this afternoon. I don't know if it's the person you're looking for, someone suddenly echoed. That's right, I saw it too. 2 or 3 other people nodded. Then do you have any impression of what the people who helped him looked like, or if they had any special characteristics? Niu Xingwang continued to ask. Everyone shook their heads. The woman tried hard to remember, but in the end, she still shook her head. She couldn't remember. Niu Xingwang immediately rewarded the woman with 10,000 yuan, and the other few who spoke also received 1,000 yuan each, which was credited to their transaction cards. The crowd dispersed. I think the boss didn't faint, he was probably attacked, Zhang Yuanqi analyzed. I think so too, Niu Xingwang agreed. In their impression, Dongfang Chen's health was quite good, and he had never suddenly fainted before. Then who do you think it could be? Zhang Yuanqi asked. Niu Xingwang shook his head and didn't speak. Everyone is tired today, go back and rest. Tian Shan, come with me for a moment. After a moment of silence, Niu Xingwang ordered everyone to disperse and asked Zhang Yuanqi to return to the office with him. Boss Niu, did you discover something? Zhang Yuanqi asked after entering the office. I suspect there's a mole in the Chamber of Commerce, Niu Xingwang said. Oh? Tell me about it, Zhang Yuanqi replied. When Mr. Dongfang came today, he left me some decorations that contained listening devices. Tomorrow morning, have someone come and take away a portion. Mr. Dongfang's original intention was also to avoid people with ulterior motives from infiltrating the Chamber of Commerce and the Union as much as possible. I didn't expect someone to act so quickly. We hadn't even had time to set things up when something happened to Mr. Dongfang. Niu Xingwang roughly explained the situation first. So, you've suspected this for a while, Zhang Yuanqi nodded. That's right. When Mr. Dongfang left the Chamber of Commerce today, he must have been targeted. Moreover, the other party clearly knew that Mr. Dongfang's identity was not simple and came specifically for him. Niu Xingwang analyzed. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be. Usually, I haven't revealed anything in front of outsiders, so no one should have noticed his identity. Zhang Yuanke recalled. Some people may have already noticed. Mr. Dongfang went to the Suiyang resettlement single-handedly, which is a point of suspicion. There are also a few people in the Chamber of Commerce who roughly know Mr. Dongfang's position. Over time, I'm afraid it's no longer a secret that Mr. Dongfang holds a prestigious position in the Chamber of Commerce, Niu Xingwang said. Moreover, there's someone on my side. You've also met her name is Gu Qingyi. She was brought back from the Suiyang resettlement by Mr. Dongfang before. Mr. Dongfang has always been suspicious of her identity, but he hasn't found any substantial evidence. I can't determine whether this incident is related to her, Niu Xingwang added. Then why don't we call her over and test the waters, Zhang Yuanke said. No. Mr. Dongfang instructed that this Gu Qingyi cannot be moved lightly. If there's nothing wrong with her identity, she will be given important responsibilities in the future. If there's a problem, she will also be of great use in the future. So, we can't move her for now, Niu Xingwang explained. What time is it now? The boss's safety is the most important thing, Zhang Yuanke disagreed. Wait a little longer, I think today's matter isn't that simple, Niu Xingwang said. Tell me about it, Zhang Yuanke said. On this point, Zhang Yuanke was still quite a bit behind Niu Xingwang. The characteristics of a soldier made him unaccustomed to those roundabout tactics. However, after becoming the president, he has improved a lot now. Mr. Dongfang isn't someone that anyone can take down. He has so much strange equipment in his hands, it shouldn't all be for show, Niu Xingwang said. You mean, the boss deliberately let them capture him? Zhang Yuanke understood a little. It's very likely, Niu Xingwang replied. Zhang Yuanke nodded and said nothing more. Chapter 86, First Encounter with a Red Sect. The night passed without incident. Dongfang Chen woke up, stood up, and stretched. A notification sound came from his ear. He opened his digital eye and saw a pile of call requests and unread messages. They were all asking where he was. He didn't reply, but closed the dialogue window. He was locked in a metal cage, his hands and feet originally bound. But these petty tricks couldn't hold him. In fact, for him, such a cage and such a basement couldn't trap him. He was just waiting for the person who kidnapped him to come and see him. He even felt a little excited and expectant, thinking this was more fun. Before long, the door to the room opened. A person wearing a deep red cloak and a snow-white mask walked in, followed by several burly men. As expected, it was the Crimson Robe sect. The group walked up to the cage holding Dongfang Chen and stopped. The masked person spoke. It seems you have some strength. One could hear that the masked person's voice was a bit hoarse. Your eyesight is good, Dongfang Chen replied. Interesting. What's your name? Before asking others, shouldn't you introduce yourself? Dongfang Chen retorted. Everyone calls me Divine Envoy. You can call me Lord Divine Envoy, the masked person said. Divine Envoy? What a big flag to wave. You don't even dare to say your real name, Dongfang Chen thought. So he said, everyone calls me boss. You can call me the too. Head, young man, I'm afraid you haven't figured out your situation yet, the Divine Envoy said with slight displeasure, half threateningly. Oh? Then tell me, what situation am I in? Dongfang Chen retorted. You brat, I think your skin is itching. A burly man beside him scolded. The masked person raised a hand to stop him, then said, you all go out. I'll chat with him alone. The burly man hesitated slightly, then bowed and said in unison, yes. After speaking, they turned and went out, closing the door again. Young man, do you know why we invited you here? Are you sure it's an invitation? Are the people of your Crimson Robe sect so rude? Oh? It seems you really know about the Crimson Robe sect. Then things are much simpler. Did you kill Mei Wenhua? The masked person went straight to the point. You've wronged me. Mei Wenhua was executed by the Suiyang settlement. It has nothing to do with me. Dongfang Chen denied everything from this sentence. He understood that his exposure had something to do with the Suiyang settlement. In my opinion, there's no difference. Mei Wenhua is a minor character. It doesn't matter if he dies. What I want to know is, how do you control those spiders? Dongfang Chen frowned. The question was a bit serious. Were there people from the Crimson Robe sect present at the time? How did they know about the spiders? Clearly, the other party was deliberately asking this, implying that they had already grasped a lot of information about him. The masked person observed the change in Dongfang Chen's expression and felt slightly pleased. However, he quickly adjusted and said, you'll know this later. But I think it's much simpler than your spirit summoning technique. Dongfang Chen used their own methods against them, also throwing out a clue. You know the spirit summoning technique? The masked person was obviously surprised and began to lose his composure. I don't know. I was just teasing you. Stop talking about these useless things. Tell me your purpose. I'm in a hurry and don't have time to waste here with you. Dongfang Chen retreated immediately. From the other party's performance, he determined that a character like the Divine Envoy was not a very high-ranking position in the Crimson Robe sect, and he no longer had much interest in continuing the conversation. I originally wanted to develop you into the Crimson Robe sect, but now it seems you know too much. I can't keep you, the Divine Envoy said fiercely. Your Crimson Robe sect doesn't have that much face, and you have even less. Dongfang Chen found it funny. It was truly like playing the little devil in front of the king of hell, a shameful display. Prepare to die? After the masked person finished speaking, he thrust his hands forward in the shape of claws at the same time. Two blood-red curtains flew out from the deep red cloak behind him, one on the left and one on the right, towards Dongfang Chen's cage. The curtains were very wide and long, swirling and constantly wrapping around the cage, until the entire cage was wrapped like a rice dumpling. The curtains emitted a faint bloody aura. Warning. A large amount of hallucinogens has been detected entering the body. The automatic decomposition program has been started. Liver function has been increased to 300%. Heart function has been increased to 280%. Blood flow rate has been increased to 200%. Lung function has been suppressed to 30%. The panel in the digital eye automatically started, filled with red text and numerical prompts. This was the vital sign monitoring system that Xiaolin had the special equipment research lab custom made for Dongfang Chen. The entire system consisted of a central control unit the size of a capsule and 2 million nanobit sensors. These 2 million nanobit sensors were distributed throughout Dongfang Chen's various organs. When some nanobit sensors detected abnormal vital signs, they would transmit the abnormal data to the central control unit. The central control unit would make specific responses based on the danger level and threat type, and issue instructions to the corresponding nanobit sensors. After receiving the instructions, the nanobit sensors would perform the corresponding operations. For example, improving cardiopulmonary function, improving the metabolic function of organs, stimulating the lymphatic system, etc. Chapter 87 Interrogation. For example, in the current situation, if Dongfang Chen ingests a large amount of hallucinogens, the central control system will issue instructions to the nano-sensor robots in each organ, stimulating the corresponding organs to synthesize the specific proteases needed to break down the hallucinogens. By accelerating cardiovascular function and inhibiting lung absorption speed, it enhances detoxification speed while ensuring vital signs. After decomposition, it accelerates excretion to the kidneys. The formulation of this entire system control plan is supported by the computing power provided by the supercomputing center. From the detection of system anomalies to the central control system receiving the information and sending it to the supercomputing center for plan formulation, and then compiling the plan and returning the operating instructions, the entire closed loop actually takes only 2 to 5 seconds. The entire process does not require Dongfang Chen to issue instructions and is forcibly executed according to Xiaolin. She has emergency disposal rights in the program settings at the same time. Dongfang Chen felt a burst of dizziness and quickly ordered the nanobots to attack and decompose the red curtain. The masked man standing outside, after releasing the red curtain, put away his claws and stood there quietly, watching. He knew that the moment the red curtain successfully enveloped him, the person inside was already allowed to be slaughtered unexpectedly. This attack was met with an accident, and the masked man was shocked. The red curtain in front of him began to disappear slowly from the bottom, constantly spreading upwards as if it were being dissolved. In 10 seconds, the entire red curtain was completely decomposed due to physical exhaustion. Dongfang Chen, trapped in the cage, held on to the iron railing with his right hand, lowered his head, and was drenched in sweat. He had not fully recovered from the side effects of the hallucinogens. How is that possible? The masked man cried out in disbelief. Not bad, a very strange method. Dongfang Chen raised his head wearily and said with a smile, however, it's also a low-down trick. Dongfang Chen added, how come you didn't faint? Impossible, this is impossible. The masked man repeated these words. Dongfang Chen waved his hand, and the iron cage in front of him was quickly decomposed. He staggered out, looking slightly stronger than before. You are not worthy to know, Dongfang Chen said as he walked towards the masked man. Seeing Dongfang Chen approaching, the masked man retreated in a panic. Overwhelmed by panic, he no longer knew what to do. Say something valuable, or you won't be able to leave here today. Dongfang Chen casually dragged over a stool and sat down. Impossible, the masked man refused. Is that so? Dongfang Chen raised his hand, and the crimson cloak he wore disappeared, and so did his mask. As the mask disappeared, a face covered in deep blue blood was revealed. It looked as if he had been poisoned by some kind of potent venom, with blue blood vessels spreading upwards from his neck, exceptionally terrifying. His eyes were bloodshot, as if they had been congested for a long time. Feeling the mask disappear, the man hurriedly reached out to touch it. "No wonder you wear a mask, so you're too ashamed to show your face," Dongfang Chen mocked. "How could this happen? Impossible. Impossible," the man muttered incoherently. "That just means you're ignorant. Can you talk now?" Dongfang Chen asked. "Impossible. Impossible." The man was still panicking and talking to himself. Dongfang Chen waved his hand again, and the man's legs began to decompose. The man lost his balance and fell to the ground. "Stop. I'll talk. I'll talk." The man panicked. Dongfang Chen waved his hand, and the nanobot stopped moving. "This is your last chance. If you can't say anything useful, you can die," Dongfang Chen warned. "If I talk, can you let me leave?" the man asked. "I don't guarantee whether I can let you leave. I only guarantee that if you don't talk, you will suffer very painful punishment," Dongfang Chen said. "What do you want to know?" the man swallowed and asked. "Let's talk about the Red Robe sect first. Tell me everything you know," Dongfang Chen said. "In the past, our holy sect." "Huh?" The man was interrupted just as he was about to speak. Realizing something, he quickly changed his words. Oh, the Red Robe sect in the past. The Red Robe sect was just a small sect with not many followers. As far as I know, after the virus outbreak, the Red Robe sect began to absorb a large number of followers. This is the case not only in Huaguo, but all over the world. I only joined after the virus outbreak, the man said. "What is the hierarchy of your church?" Dongfang Chen asked. "I don't fully understand. I only know that my superior is a holy envoy, that's what he told me to call him. My identity is divine envoy, and below me are the good servants. The good servants have the right to develop followers in a city. To facilitate management, they will combine several families together to form a small group and choose a person with prestige from among them to be the messenger. That's roughly how it works," the man explained. "How did you join the Red Robe sect?" Dongfang Chen asked. He felt that this man's ability to withstand pressure was not very good. He confessed everything after being frightened, indicating that the Red Robe sect's level of developing power was just average. "A few months ago, I was just an ordinary citizen of Moscow. After being attacked by zombies and infected with a virus, I thought I was going to die. At this time, a person wearing a crimson cloak found me. He said he would let me follow him to get a chance to survive. I was very scared at the time, so I agreed." The man paused to catch his breath and continued. "The holy envoy gave me a pill and told me to take it. I understood that even if I didn't take it, I wouldn't be able to survive, so I took a chance and swallowed the pill. I didn't expect that after taking the pill, I felt much better. Not only did I feel better, but I also felt like I had gained some kind of power. I was very excited and vowed to follow the holy envoy wholeheartedly." Chapter 88. Zhangyu throws a tantrum. "What is the identity of the enforcer?" Dongfang Chen asked. "Enforcer. Enforcers should be on the same level as us. There is no subordinate relationship between us. We all listen to the Saint Envoy. However, they are not responsible for developing messengers, but only for cleaning up disobedient people or enemies. They also manage some halls," the man explained. "What are halls?" Dongfang Chen asked. "They are some lackeys collected by the enforcers. They specialize in doing dirty work," the man explained. "Tell me about the spirit summoning technique," Dongfang Chen said. "Spirit summoning technique? I don't know much about it. I only know that only the Saint Envoy is qualified to use the spirit summoning technique," the man replied. "You're not being very sincere." "I know more than that." Dongfang Chen raised his hand, threatening him. Don't, I'll talk. "It is said that the spirit summoning technique is an ancient secret technique. Legend has it that a long time ago, someone could revive the dead by using this secret technique. But those are all very old legends, and no one has ever seen it. No one in the church has ever been able to cast it successfully. It is said that not long after the virus outbreak, a key figure in the church accidentally discovered that using the spirit summoning technique could awaken the consciousness of zombies, and after awakening, they would obey his orders. Since then, the Red Cloak Society has been able to develop rapidly, and its followers have spread all over the world within a few months," the man said. "Anything else?" Dongfang Chen asked. "That's all I know," the man said. "Have you ever personally seen your Saint Envoy use the spirit summoning technique?" Dongfang Chen asked. No. The spirit summoning technique is a secret within the church. We don't have that qualification, the man hurriedly explained. All right. By the way, do you know Mei Wenho from the Suiyang resettlement? Dongfang Chen asked. No. The man hesitated before answering. Dongfang Chen pretended not to notice and said, then tell me about it. Mei Wenho is my subordinate. His level in the Red Cloak Society is benevolent servant. At that time, after Mei Wenho's son was infected, I told him that there was a way to restore his son's consciousness, so he joined us, the man explained. How did his son get infected? Dongfang Chen asked. I don't know. When I saw him, he was already infected, the man said, a little nervous. Do you know someone named Rongqing Yi? Dongfang Chen continued to ask. Know her, the man replied. Oh. What is her identity in the church? Dongfang Chen asked. She is Mei Wenho's secretary, not someone from her church, the man replied. From the man's dazed expression, Dongfang Chen felt that he didn't seem to be lying. It seemed that he couldn't trick him. But his intuition told him that this Gucheng Yi was not that simple. Just take yesterday's attack on himself, could it really have nothing to do with Gucheng Yi? You must know that in Milan, not many people know his identity, basically all his own people. Then why didn't Mei Wenho develop her to join? Dongfang Chen continued to ask. I'm not sure about that. We generally don't interfere much in their development of believers, the man replied. Dongfang Chen nodded. Do you have anything else to add? Dongfang Chen asked. No more, the man replied tremblingly. Is that so? Then you can leave. Dongfang Chen said. Really? Thank you, the man was overjoyed, crawled around, and prepared to leave. Dongfang Chen waved his hand, and the imperceptible nanobots instantly disintegrated. The man, after sitting on the stool for a while, he had now recovered some strength, and his steps were much steadier. With this matter settled, he no longer had any need to stay, so he got up and walked towards the door. The several burly men outside the door didn't even have time to react before they all turned to dust. This was the first time Dongfang Chen had killed someone. His hands trembled slightly because of this, unable to control it at all. The Huituang Chamber of Commerce's aircraft, after receiving Dongfang Chen's instructions, automatically started and flew towards him at the same time. Niu Xingwang and Zhang Yuankui also received Dongfang Chen's message, and their hearts were greatly relieved. Sichuan Province, Yundu City, Southwest Military Region Headquarters. I say, Zhong Xiaolin, are you done yet? You've been pestering me all night. Can't you let people have a little peace and quiet in the early morning? Yan Zhangping shouted. Old Yan, I'm telling you, if you don't explain it to me clearly, I'll keep making a fuss. Zhong Zhanggayu played the rogue. Look, you're also a military region commander and a member of the National Assembly. Can you have some face? You're so old, and you're still playing this trick of tantrums and rolling around. Yan Zhangping joked. He said he was annoyed, but in reality, he was doing it on purpose. So what? I'm telling you, old Yan, you're really not kind. You've been hiding such good things all along. Can you bear to watch so many young lives die at the hands of zombies? Bear to watch? If I bore to watch, I wouldn't have brought you here. Alright, I'm telling you, you owe me a big favor this time, Yan Zhangping said as he walked. Look at what you're saying. As long as you tell me where these equipment came from, I'll take care of the drinks in the future. Zhong Zhanggayu patted his chest and said, Good. You said it. Yan Zhangping pointed at him, confirming, I said it. Zhong Zhanggayu said without hesitation. Yan Zhangping nodded, opened the office door, and the two walked into the office one after another. Walking to the desk and sitting down, Yan Zhangping picked up the satellite phone in his hand and dialed a number. Hello, Dad. Yan Fangfang's voice came from the other end of the phone. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Black Heart Quote. Hello, Dad. It was Yan Fangfang's voice on the other end of the phone. Fangfang, come to my office, Yan Zhangping said. Okay, Dad, Yan Fangfang replied. Yan Zhangping hung up the phone and said to Zhong Zhenyu, Fangfang will be here soon. You can talk to her about the equipment. She's the one who got it. But one thing, don't ask about the source, and don't investigate it, okay? Don't worry, I understand. Your niece will definitely get her share. Zhong Zhenyu pondered for a moment and replied, Get out. Is that what I meant? You don't understand anything. I'm telling you not to investigate the source for your own good. Fang Fang is the contact person designated by the other party. If you're not clean and the other party finds out, you can go cool off wherever you want. Yan Zhangping warned Zhuang Zhenyu very seriously. Zhuang Zhenyu was stunned. In this land of China, is there anyone or anything that Zhuang Zhenyu wouldn't dare to investigate? Zhuang Zhenyu thought to himself, but he said, I see, okay, I understand, I hope you really understand. Yan Zhangping glanced at him. Report, enter, Commander, you were looking for me. After all, this was the military region, and there was an outsider present, so Yan Fang Fang had to use her official title. Fang Fang, your uncle Zhuang wants to know about the equipment. Talk to him about it, Yan Zhangping said. Commander, but, Yan Fang Fang hesitated. My dear niece, your uncle Zhuang isn't an outsider. You can't hide anything, Zhuang Zhenyu said, not acting like an elder at all. Fang Fang, just consider it as a unified purchase by our military region, and then we'll give him a portion. Yan Zhangping hinted. Yan Fang Fang immediately understood and said, understood, Uncle Zhuang. Let me first introduce the basic information about the equipment. This equipment is called the Guardsman Type 1 combat suit. Then, Yan Fang Fang introduced some of the basic characteristics of the combat suit. Because Zhuang Zhenyu had already seen it in person yesterday, it wasn't difficult to understand soon. Yan Fang Fang finished the introduction. I basically understand the specific characteristics. What I want to know now is the price of this equipment. How much can you provide? Zhuang Zhenyu eagerly asked the question he cared about most. The price of one set of this combat suit is 160 crystal cores, and only crystal cores are accepted. Yan Fang Fang quoted the price. She raised the price by 60 cores on the basis of 100 cores in order to retain some room for negotiation. She understood that even if she quoted 100 cores, Zhuang Zhenyu would probably still haggle. But if she quoted 110 or 120, it would be easier to be cut down to 100, so it would be better to quote a higher price and let him haggle as he pleased. Crystal cores? That thing that grows in the brains of zombies? Zhuang Zhenyu thought for a moment and asked. Yes, Yan Fang Fang said. Is that thing useful? Zhuang Zhenyu asked. I'm not sure. The other party only accepts crystal core transactions. Yan Fang Fang didn't explain the use of crystal cores too much because she didn't know much about it either. 160 crystal cores a set. Tisk, that's too expensive. Zhuang Zhenyu clicked his tongue. He did have some crystal cores, but not many. They were used by the Military Research Institute for research. The key problem was that collecting these crystal cores required a great sacrifice. To meet the needs of the laboratory, he had the soldiers go out to collect them some time ago, and a dozen people were sacrificed to get only a few dozen cores. Fang Fang, Uncle Zhuang wants to ask you, can you give me a batch of equipment on credit first? You also know that it's too dangerous for the soldiers to go out and kill zombies. According to previous experience, collecting the crystal cores for this suit of clothes would require sacrificing at least dozens of people. Zhuang Zhenyu asked. Zhuang Zhenyu didn't haggle first, but instead stated his request. He understood that with equipment and without equipment, the speed of collecting crystal cores was different, and the cost was also different. Okay, Yan Fang Fang didn't think much about it and agreed directly on this point. She was the same as Dongfang Chen, unwilling to let the soldiers risk their lives to collect crystal cores. Great. That's great. Fang Fang, thank you so much. With the equipment, it will be much easier to collect crystal cores. Zhuang Zhenyu was overjoyed. Then the price. Yan Fang Fang was waiting for Zhuang Zhenyu to haggle. The price is set. Zhuang Zhenyu decided okay. He finally understood Dongfang Chen's feelings at the time. He didn't say a single line of the prepared lines. Oh, right, Fang Fang, how many sets can you give me on credit in the early stage? Zhuang Zhenyu asked. 200 sets, no more than that. Yan Fang Fang thought for a moment and replied, after all, the other party offered a high price, so she had to show some appreciation. 200 sets, okay. Zhuang Zhenyu felt that 200 sets was a bit small, but after thinking about it, the quantity wasn't the problem. The main thing was that there was a start, and it would be easier to operate later. Okay, but Uncle Zhuang, you'll have to wait a few days. The equipment we have on hand has already been distributed. I'll reserve 200 sets for you next time I pick up the goods, Yan Fang Fang added. Is that so? How long will it take? Zhuang Zhenyu asked. I have to contact the other party first. Please wait a moment, Yan Fang Fang said and walked out. Walking into a secluded office, Yan Fang Fang closed the door and dialed Dongfang Chen's phone. At this time, Dongfang Chen had just finished dealing with the Red Cloth sect and boarded the plane. Hello, Sister Yan, Is there anything you need when calling?" When no one was around, Dongfang Chen no longer used everyone's nicknames. "Boss, it's like this," Yan Fangfang roughly explained the situation. "Wow, Sister Yan, you're really ruthless. You quoted 160 crystal cores for a set of clothes." Chapter 90 Shen Wen meets Zuo Wenchen. "How would I know he wouldn't haggle?" Yan Fangfang explained. "Alright. No problem there. I've expanded the equipment production warehouse twice already, and the shipping speed is much faster now. As long as you send more crystal cores over here, the production capacity can be continuously expanded. So, Sister Yan, we can do more of this kind of business in the future. The more crystal cores, the better," Dongfang Chen said. "That's good. How about I free up some of the profits from their side of the transaction for you?" Yan Fangfang said. "Forget it. It's settled at 100 crystal cores per piece, so it will be 100 crystal cores. Besides, if the prices aren't uniform, it'll be a hassle for me to calculate. Consider the extra part as your profit. You can arrange it as you like." Dongfang Chen refused. "Okay," Yan Fangfang replied after hanging up the phone. Yan Fangfang returned to Yan Xiangping's office. "Uncle Zhuang, I've contacted them. The other party agreed, and we can pick up the goods tomorrow," Yan Fangfang said. "What? So fast? That's great, that's great. Then, shall I go with you?" Zhong Hangyu said. "Zhong Xian, have you forgotten what I told you?" Yan Xiangping immediately interrupted. "Oh, right. Then Fangfang, I'll wait for you here. I'll go back after I get the equipment." Zhong Hangyu quickly corrected himself. Yan Xiangping didn't refuse him staying here, otherwise, he would have to deliver the goods to him, which would be even more troublesome. Yan Fangfang gave a wry smile. They were all like old children. "Okay," Yan Fangfang replied with the matter settled. Yan Fangfang walked out. Yan Xiangping continued. "Brother Zhuang, now that your problem is resolved, shouldn't we talk about the transport aircraft next?" Yan Xiangping said so. For the entire morning, the two of them were in the office, bargaining back and forth. Finally, it was agreed that Yan Xiangping would pay the cost of 50,000 crystal cores to rent 20 transport aircraft from Zhuang Hangyu. With each transport aircraft equipped with a pilot, Yan Xiangping would take care of the other personnel himself at the highway intersection between Lake Mountain Province and Jiangsu Province. 13:30 noon. "Captain, situation," a Special Forces soldier on guard duty shouted. "Oh!" Another Special Forces soldier put down his water bottle and walked over. He opened his binoculars and observed carefully. It turned out that there were two people walking towards them staggeringly on the highway. During the day, zombies would not dare to expose themselves to the sunlight, so it was undoubtedly two people. "Send a few people over to bring them back," the captain ordered. After receiving the order, 6 Special Forces soldiers quickly moved towards the two people to prevent anyone from ambushing on either side. They held their guns up, walking while carefully observing the situation on both sides of the road. They quickly covered a distance of several hundred meters. Immediately afterward, 2 soldiers held their guns up on either side for cover, and the remaining 4 soldiers put away their guns. 2 people supported one each, putting the 2 exhausted people under their arms, and quickly returned. When the 2 people saw that the people saving them were soldiers, they relaxed and passed out directly. The captain immediately ordered the team to set up camp here, with several groups taking turns on guard duty after being given some water and liquid food. The 2 people did not wake up until evening. "Where am I?" the older one asked after waking up. "Don't be afraid, you are safe now. We are currently at the border between Jiangsu Province and Lake Mountain Province," the captain said. "Are you from the Southeast Military Region?" "Sorry, we cannot disclose our unit number," the man nodded and continued. "I am Zuo Wenchen, the mayor of Haishao City, and I have important information to report. Please take me to the Southeast Military Region." Zuo Wenchen said. These 2 people were Zuo Wenchen, the mayor of Madong Settlement, and his secretary, who had escaped. They had been walking along the highway for 2 days, and their physical strength was severely depleted. "The mayor of Haishao City? Then why are you here?" the captain frowned. "Alice. The Madong Settlement I was in charge of was besieged by hundreds of thousands of zombies 2 nights ago, and no one survived. My secretary and I were only escorted out by many people risking their lives," Zuo Wenchen roughly explained. "Hundreds of thousands of zombies besieged the city." The captain was a little surprised. "You should know that, so far, there has not been such a large-scale zombie siege incident in the country. At most, there have only been dozens or hundreds. The reason is very simple. Zombies have no intelligence and cannot launch organized, large-scale attacks. You should rest well first. We will escort you to the southeast military region early tomorrow morning. The captain comforted them and walked out of the tent. Brother, are we really going to the southeast military region? A girl in special operations uniform asked. It was Lu'er, and this captain was none other than Shen Wengang. Yes. We came out this time to give everyone experience anyway, so going anywhere is the same, Shen Wengang said. Yes, Lu'er nodded. The team led by Shen Wengang was the Special Operations Team, Dark Knight, initiated by the Military and Political Department and established in the Central Military Region. This team was entirely composed of mutants, but everyone's abilities were still very weak. At noon the next day, Shen Wengang led the Dark Knight team to the Southeast Military Region. Hello, we are from the Central Military Region and have urgent military affairs to report to the commander. This is my ID. Chapter 91, Zombies Understand Military Tactics? The soldier on duty at the entrance took the documents and carefully checked them. Please wait a moment. The soldier returned the documents and walked into the guardhouse, dialing an internal line. The military had electricity. External calls were definitely impossible due to base station and civilian satellite failures, but internal calls could be made before long. The soldier came out again. Please wait a moment, someone will come to receive you soon. Okay, thank you, Shen Wengang said. Aren't you from the Southeast Military Region? Zhuo Wenshan asked. Yes, Shen Wengang didn't explain further. Zhuo Wenshan nodded and didn't ask any more questions. Anyway, they brought him here, and it didn't matter to him where they were from. Soon, the group entered the military region headquarters led by a military officer at this time. Zhong's Hangai, who had just returned with 200 sets of combat suits and was a little puzzled to hear that someone from the Central Military Region wanted to see him soon. Shen Wengang led Zhuo Wenshan into Zhong's Hangai's office, while the others waited in the nearby conference room. Report, Commander, I am Xiaolin from the Central Military Region. This is my identification. Shen Wengang handed over his documents. Zhong Zhangaiyu took the documents and looked at them, raising his eyebrows slightly. Dark Knight, he knew about Dark Knight. A special operations group newly formed by the military and political director under the order of the speaker, and its members were all mutants conscripted from across the country. He had overheard the speaker discussing this matter privately in Kyoto some time ago. However, he didn't take it too seriously at the time. After all, people immune to the virus were extremely rare, so rare that describing them as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns wouldn't be an exaggeration. Relying on so few people to fight zombies was unrealistic, so he wasn't very interested. But now he had discovered combat suits, which meant that the number of people who could resist the virus could be continuously increased. Wasn't this more cost-effective than painstakingly searching for mutants across the country? Do you have any mission here in the Southeast Military Region? Zhong's Hangaiyu asked, returning the documents. Report, Commander, we are out here for training. Yesterday, we encountered this comrade at the junction of Yusa Province and Hushan Province. He said he had important information to report to you, so we escorted him here, Shen Wengang explained. Oh. May I ask who you are? Zhong's Hangaiyu looked at Zhuo Wenshan, who was covered in dust. Commander Zhuang, I am Zhuo Wenshan from the Madang settlement. Zhuo Wenshan quickly introduced himself. Madang settlement. Zhong's Hangaiyu jumped up as soon as he heard Madang settlement, completely ignoring who he was. Zhuo Wenshan was stunned. You said you're from the Madang settlement? Tell me quickly, what happened? Zhong's Hangaiyu asked anxiously. Commander Zhuang. It was terrible, so terrible. More than 300,000 people are all dead. Zhuo Wenshan's emotions also rose. How did they die? Zhong's Hangaiyu asked urgently. That day, around 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, not long after sunset, the patrols discovered zombies constantly gathering on the opposite bank of the river, gathering more and more, estimated to be several 100,000. We were a little scared, worried that the zombies would attack the settlement, so we called you for help. Around 9 o'clock, they began to walk across the bridge. They moved very slowly, taking more than an hour to cross the 2-kilometer Ma'an bridge. The zombies in front stood there after crossing the bridge, neither attacking nor rampaging. Before long, we heard gunfire coming from the opposite bank of the river, guessing that your troops had arrived to rescue us. At this time, the zombies on the bridge suddenly went berserk, frantically rushing towards the opposite bank of the river. In just over 10 minutes, the gunfire stopped. We didn't dare to go over to see, but we guessed that the soldiers who went to rescue us were probably doomed. Before long, these zombies frantically rushed back. The settlement didn't even have decent weapons, and it was quickly breached by the zombies. The security team, hundreds of people, formed a human wall, blocking the north gate. to escort me and the secretary out. We had no means of transportation and walked on the road for 2 days and 2 nights. If we hadn't met these comrades, we would have died on the road. Zhuo Wenchen recounted what happened at that time with tears in his eyes and snot running down his face. Hundreds of thousands of zombies? Ambush reinforcements. Zhongzhangyu heard the key points. How can this be so unreal? Have the zombies become spirits? They're even using military tactics. Zhongzhangyu fell into deep thought for a moment. How does it sound like the zombies were waiting for reinforcements? Zhongzhangyu said, that's right, we had that feeling at the time. Although we were unwilling to believe it, it looked like that was the case. Zhuo Wenchen confirmed, in this case, this zombie siege incident was an organized and premeditated attack. Zhongzhangyu said thoughtfully, Commander Zhong, isn't this a bit too mysterious? I haven't heard of zombies launching a premeditated attack. Shen Wengang, who was standing beside him, said, this situation is very important. I will report it to the council. Thank you for bringing back such important information. You can rest in the military region during this time. Zhongzhangyu said to Zhuo Wenchen, thank you. Then I'll trouble Commander Zhong. Zhuo Wenchen thanked him. Commander, now that the person has been delivered, we won't stay any longer. Shen Wengang was also preparing to leave. Xiangang, how about this? Since you're already here, don't rush to leave. Stay in the southeast military region for a couple of days. I heard that your Dark Knight was specially established by the speaker, so you must be extraordinarily powerful. Take this opportunity to give our military region's new recruits a lesson and broaden their horizons. What do you think? Zhongzhangyu suggested. Chapter 92 Confrontation Exercise. Is that so? All right then, Shen Wengang agreed after a moment's thought. As far as he was concerned, it didn't matter where or how the Dark Knight squad trained. There was no need to deliberately reject Zhongzhangyu's request. Zhongzhangyu, however, was feeling a little cocky at this point. He believed that with the protection of the combat suits, even zombies could be easily dealt with. So what was a Dark Knight squad? He was eager to experience the awesomeness of the combat suits and, by the way, teach the Dark Knight squad and the military affairs department a lesson. Okay, I'll have someone arrange accommodation for you. You guys take a good rest first. Tomorrow, we'll have a live combat exercise, Zhongzhangyu said, overjoyed that Shen Wengang had agreed. Yes, sir. Shen Wengang saluted and left early the next morning. 200 soldiers in combat suits stood neatly in the training ground. On the other side was the Dark Knight squad led by Shen Wengang, a total of 19 people including himself. Shen Wengang smiled awkwardly when he saw all the soldiers opposite him wearing combat suits. Luckily, he wasn't wearing a head, and others couldn't see the clothes he was wearing underneath. Otherwise, this scene would have been really awkward during the assembly. Shen Wengang used his digital eye to send the scene to Dongfang Chen. Dongfang Chen smiled knowingly and sent a message, train them hard. Subsequently, at Shen Wengang's suggestion, all 19 people on his side participated, and Zhongzhangyu also had all 200 soldiers participate initially. Zhongzhangyu disagreed, as it was obviously bullying 1 against 10. Did they think they were invulnerable, or were they just too confident? However, since Shen Wengang insisted, he didn't say anything more. Anyway, they were all blanks, so no one would die. It was also a good opportunity to suppress the arrogance of these Dark Knight rookie recruits. The first confrontation exercise took place in an abandoned building within the military region, specifically used for training. Shen Wengang's team of 19 was the red team, responsible for defense, while Zhongzhangyu's 200 soldiers were the blue team, responsible for offense. Soon, the battle began. Shen Wengang ordered the remaining 18 team members to scatter and hide throughout the building. The 200 fully armed soldiers entered the building in offensive formation. It should be noted that in the pre-match agreement, Zhongzhangyu had specifically stated that these combat suits were bulletproof. Therefore, soldiers on his side would not be considered dead after being shot, but had to be captured. On the other hand, Shen Wengang's 19 people apparently didn't have combat suits, so they would be considered dead after being shot. Shen Wengang understood the characteristics of the combat suits, so he agreed without thinking. The team members were puzzled and felt it was unfair, but since the captain had agreed, they didn't say anything more. Therefore, in this confrontation, everyone was relatively conservative, trying not to expose themselves. Whoosh! As soon as the 200 members of the blue team entered the building, a strong wind suddenly blew. The wind was so strong that the dust it stirred up obscured everyone's vision. Everyone, close in towards the center, don't get separated, someone shouted. Hearing this, everyone huddled together. Moving towards the center, swish unnoticed, a rope flew over and whisked away a soldier, swish. Swish. Several soldiers standing on the periphery were captured one after another and walked out of the building in dismay. What the heck? Zhong's Hangai was no longer calm when he saw 7 or 8 people walking out in succession, all from his side. How long had it been? Not even a minute? So many people had been taken out. You, come here, what's the situation? Zhong's Hangai called over a soldier who had already been killed and asked, reporting, Commander, a strong wind blew inside, dust filled the air, and we were tied up before we could see anything. The soldier replied dejectedly, Wind? Where did the wind come from? Zhong's Hangai was baffled. This was the consequence of him underestimating the mutants. Dongfang Chen had told everyone in the base 6 months ago that mutants were the main force against zombies. However, other people, including most of the upper echelons of the military, had not yet realized this, and this confrontation was the beginning. While he was speaking, more than a dozen soldiers came out one after another. Zhong's Hangai's face was livid. The most infuriating thing was that those who came out knew nothing, not even seeing a hair of the opponent. Even more infuriating was that the clothes of several people had been stripped off, which was troublesome. The gale did not last long, because the strength of the mutant who mastered this skill was still not good enough to maintain it for a long time. Whoosh! Just as everyone had just calmed down, it seemed that someone suddenly appeared and then disappeared immediately afterwards. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. People kept flashing by. Only the sound of the wind breaking in the air and the dust raised on the ground could prove that someone had indeed appeared and then disappeared. Otherwise they might not have noticed. With the quick flashes of the figure, people screamed every time. The hundred and dozens of soldiers gathered on the scene looked around a little flustered, only knowing that the number of people around them was constantly decreasing. But not knowing how they were decreasing, several people raised their guns and fired wildly, but unfortunately, they didn't hit anything this time. More than a dozen blue team soldiers were tragically eliminated. They discovered a pattern. The 2 different attack methods could not be maintained for a long time. Comrades, we can't wait passively here. Listen to my orders. Teams 1 to 5 take the left staircase. Teams 2 to 10 take the right staircase. Everyone speed up and rush up. Their attacks can't last long. We'll take advantage of this gap to attack. Chapter 93, Rage of Zhong's Hangai. Upon hearing the order, the group quickly split into 2 teams and rushed towards the staircases on either side. The assault on the left went smoothly, and everyone quickly reached the 2nd floor. However, the right side didn't go so well. For inexplicable reasons, a group of people started dancing in place, then tumbled down the stairs in a chaotic heap. The guns in their hands all slipped loose and fell to the ground. They had been shocked, but the attacker was worried that too much energy would kill them, so it was just a light tap before anyone could pick up the guns on the ground. They instantly flew up, then were dismantled, turning into parts that clattered back down without their guns. This team became lambs to the slaughter. Several mutated individuals suddenly rushed out and quickly subdued them all at the same time. Things weren't going any better on the 2nd floor. Several mutated individuals put on the combat uniforms they had stripped off and charged directly into the crowd. With predictable results, Zhong Zhenyu was anxiously waiting outside when, suddenly, over 100 people emerged one after another, looking disheveled and dejected. Seeing this, he knew it was over. They had been utterly defeated. The enemy hadn't lost a single person, while his side was completely wiped out, all in under 20 minutes. Before long, Shen Wengang also came out with his Dark Knight squad, some of them carrying the combat uniforms they had just captured. Commander, sorry, didn't quite get the measure of it, Shen Wengang said with a smile. Zhong Zhenyu's face was ashen. What a disgrace. He had carefully selected 200 soldiers, only to be defeated by a dozen or so greenhorns. If word got out, he wouldn't have anywhere to put his face. Xiangang, I'm very curious, what exactly is so special about you mutated individuals? Zhong Zhenyu asked, sounding both impressed and inquisitive. Qianluo, give Commander Zhong a demonstration, but be mindful of your strength, Shen Wengang instructed Lu'er, who was standing beside him. Yes, sir, Lu'er responded crisply. Shen Wengang chose Lu'er for the demonstration for a reason. First, Lu'er was the earliest mutated individual, and after 2 months of training, her strength was also the greatest. Second, Lu'er's mental control had a very strong visual impact, making it the most educational. Lu'er took a step forward, bent her legs slightly, and held her hands out in a lifting gesture. Zhong Zhenyu was just about to ask what she was planning to do when the next scene completely stunned him. A large pile of machine gun parts, pushed out by 2 soldiers on a cart, flew out of the cart one by one, forming a long dragon, flying back and forth above the crowd. Sometimes they formed the Chinese character for person, Sometimes the Chinese character for one. Finally, they flew back into the cart one after another. After finishing, Luer gave Commander Zong and Shen Wengang a military salute each and walked back. Is this a special ability? Zong Zhenyu looked at the spectacular scene. Dumbfounded. Something like that, Shen Wengang replied. Is this the strength of a mutated individual? Zong Zhenyu asked. Each mutated individual's strength is different, with its own advantages and disadvantages, Shen Wengang explained truthfully. Too powerful, truly too powerful, Zong Zhenyu exclaimed at this moment. Zong Zhenyu was like a hillbilly who had never seen the world. Commander Zong. Someone once said that the battles of the future will be battles of mutated individuals. I believe this statement is very accurate, Shen Wengang said pointedly. He was hinting to Zong Zhenyu that it was time to pay attention to mutated individuals. Although mutated individuals are very powerful, they also have limitations. Zong Zhenyu still disagreed with this point. Oh? I would be glad to hear Commander Zong's teachings, Shen Wengang said humbly. There are too few mutated individuals, 1 in 10,000 is hard to find. There are too few such people to influence the overall situation. Zong Zhenyu stated his view. This was also the view of most senior generals in the military. With the strength of the entire country, it might be possible to find 10 or 20 mutated individuals. But what use could 10 or 20 people be? Wouldn't they still have to rely on the vast number of ordinary soldiers? Not necessarily. Commander Zong, I might as well tell you that I did not become a mutated individual after being infected. Shen Wengang said this was the order that Dongfang Chen had just given. Reveal the existence of the vaccine to Zong Zhenyu and point to Yanfang as the provider of the vaccine. Oh? I don't quite understand. Zong Zhenyu frowned, not understanding the meaning behind this. What I mean is, if there were a potion, Shen Wengang only said half a sentence and didn't continue. You mean, there is a potion that can turn people into mutated individuals? Zong Zhenyu roughly understood the meaning. Correct, Shen Wengang replied. What? Is there really such a thing? Zong Zhenyu was shocked. If that were the case, wouldn't it be possible to mass-produce mutated individuals? Whether or not there is, you can find out by asking one person, Shen Wengang whispered cryptically. Who? Zong Zhenyu asked quietly. Commander Yan of the Southwest Military Region, Shen Wengang said. Damn it. That kid was hiding something from me. Zong Zhenyu gritted his teeth in hatred. He had just returned from the Southwest Military Region, and Yan Xiangping hadn't revealed a word to him. No, he had to go find him. Shen Wengang looked at Zong Zhenyu, who was leaving in a flurry, and smiled knowingly. Then, through his digital pupils, he sent a message to Dongfang Chen. Done. Sichuan Province, Yun City, headquarters of the Southwest Military Region. Old Yan, get your ass out here, Zong Zhenyu shouted as soon as he entered the headquarters office building. Chapter 94. It's too cheap. What are you yelling about? Look at you, you don't look like a commander at all, more like a hoodlum. Yan Xiangping quickly came out to stop him, dragging him into the office. If he kept yelling, he would lose all his face. Old Yan, I really didn't expect you to be so disloyal, Zong Zhenyu complained. What are you talking about? Where have I been disloyal? Yan Xiangping said unhappily, plopping down on the sofa. Let me ask you, do you have a serum that can turn people into mutants? Zong Zhenyu asked. How did you know? Yan Xiangping frowned. Only he, Yan Fangfang, and Rongpo knew about this. Logically, no one else should know. Don't worry about how I know. Just tell me, do you have it or not? Zong Zhenyu continued to ask. Old Zong, aren't you not interested in mutants? Besides, combat suits are so good. Soldiers don't have to worry about the zombie virus after wearing them, so why bother with the serum? Yan Xiangping said in his heart. He wasn't very interested in the serum either. The combat suits were more practical. Even if the soldiers got the antigen, they still had to wear combat suits, so it would be easier to just wear combat suits. So that means you have it? Zong Zhenyu persisted. Yes, I do, but that stuff isn't as cost-effective as combat suits. Yan Xiangping comforted him. You get what you pay for. Don't you understand this simple principle? Zong Zhenyu said anxiously. That's not right, old Zong. Your attitude changed too quickly, didn't it? Yan Xiangping said suspiciously. Let me tell you, mutants are too powerful. Our soldiers can't compete with them at all. Zong Zhenyu said mysteriously. You met a mutant? Yan Xiangping asked. Do you know that the speaker has formed a Dark Knight team? Zong Zhenyu asked. I know, Yan Xiangping replied. The Dark Knight team is now in my military region, Zong Zhenyu said, and then, Yan Xiangping didn't know what he was going to say. We conducted a confrontation exercise, 19 people against 200 soldiers, Zhong Zhenyu said intermittently. Just say it all at once, it's exhausting to listen to you talk, Yan Zhangping said impatiently. 19 against 200, an average of more than 10 against 1. So what was the result? My men didn't even touch them before they were completely wiped out, Zhong Zhenyu exclaimed. Didn't you let the soldiers wear combat suits? Yan Zhangping didn't understand. They wore them. What would I be talking about if they didn't? Zhong Zhenyu glanced at him. Wearing combat suits, 200 couldn't beat 19. Old Zong, not that I'm saying this, but the soldiers in your southeast military region need to train harder, Yan Zhangping teased. HMPH. No wonder you don't take the serum seriously. Let me tell you, I'm going to take this serum. If you don't like it, I do. Zhong Zhenyu was too lazy to waste words with him. Old Zong, it's not that I don't like it, but that stuff is really expensive. Giving it to everyone is not as cost-effective as having everyone wear combat suits, Yan Zhangping kindly advised. Why give it to everyone? Old Zong didn't understand. That's right. If they don't get it, the soldiers won't have any resistance. Wouldn't they be going out to die? Yan Zhangping didn't understand what he meant by asking this. Wait a minute. Are we talking about the same thing? Zhong Zhenyu was a little confused. Yes. Aren't you talking about the antigen? Yan Zhangping asked. Antigen? I'm talking about the serum that can turn ordinary people into mutants. Zhong Zhenyu seemed to have discovered a key point. That's right. That kind of serum is the antigen. Yan Zhangping hadn't reacted yet. What? Are you saying you have a vaccine here? Zhong Zhenyu stood up and stared at him. Yes. Isn't that what we've been talking about all this time? Yan Zhangping felt inexplicable at Zhong Zhenyu's reaction. Damn it. Holy crap. You have a vaccine, why didn't you report it? If we had a vaccine, wouldn't this crisis end quickly? Zhong Zhenyu was about to curse. What's the rush? Let me finish. Yan Zhangping pulled him down to sit. This vaccine isn't cheap. What do you think it would be like if it were released to the public? Yan Zhangping asked. If it were released to the public, it would probably be priceless. Zhong Zhenyu pondered. Then what do you think people who can't buy it would do? Yan Zhangping continued to ask. They'd probably cause trouble. Sigh. Old Yan, I simplified things. Zhong Zhenyu apologized. Furthermore, you also attended the council's meeting. Have you forgotten that the real terror is the virus? If it was just a virus problem, why would we need to build underground bases? Yan Zhangping reminded him. That's right. It seems that vaccines are not a panacea. Zhong Zhenyu replied calmly. Back to your original question. Both antigens and combat suits can resist the virus, but think about it, with the same crystal cores, would you choose to buy 2 sets of combat suits, or 1 antigen? You may not know, but the price of 1 antigen is twice that of a combat suit. Yan Zhangping was exaggerating a bit in reality. The price Zhong Zhenyu paid for combat suits was almost the same as the price of 1 antigen. Isn't that expensive? Zhong Zhenyu calculated the price and said, not expensive. Yan Zhangping was speechless. Isn't it just 320 crystal cores? That's too cheap. Okay, Zhong Zhenyu said. Too cheap. Yan Zhangping felt that he and he were not on the same wavelength. Chapter 95 Yan Zhangping awakens. That's right, think about it, 320 crystal cores for a mutant. Holy crap. That's a steal, okay? You know the military has scoured the whole country and only found a dozen or so mutants. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find mutants? If that's the case, I can easily put together an army of hundreds of mutants and crush them like it's a game. Zhong Zhenyu became more and more excited as he thought about it. He couldn't wait to completely crush the central army. You mean, Yan Zhangping asked, as if to confirm, to also form a mutant team. Doesn't their central military region have a group of 20 people? It wouldn't be too much for me to have 200, right? Zhong Zhenyu said smugly, as if he already had a mutant group of 200 people. Are you sure mutants are really that powerful? Yan Zhangping asked to confirm. Didn't I say, 200 people fought 19, and they were even wearing combat suits, but they couldn't even touch them. And those 19 people were just newly recruited rookies. Zhong Zhenyu replied with certainty. In that case, forming a mutant squad is also fine. I'm just confused. Why did I keep thinking about giving everyone shots? Yan Zhangping slapped his forehead, scolding himself for being muddle-headed. That's because you're too focused on the situation. Alright, it's settled then. I'll order 200 doses of the antigen. I won't owe you any crystal cores. Zhong Zhenyu waved his sleeve, as if he was buying something worthless. Yan Zhangping's eyes twitched. thinking that 200 sets of clothes plus 200 doses of antigen, and bought at a high price, and you still act like you got a bargain, you can contact Fang Fang about this. It's not my responsibility. Yan Zhangping quickly declined. He was afraid that Zhuang Zhenyu would find out he had paid too much in the future and come to settle accounts with him. Besides, he had no say in whether he could supply the Southeast military region. Alright. Look at your behavior, you can't even command your own daughter. Zhuang Zhenyu looked down on him and turned to leave when Yan Fangfang learned that Zhuang Zhenyu wanted to buy the antigen at a price of 320 crystal cores. Her eyes also twitched. She wondered if she should give him some discount, but thinking about it, she couldn't set this precedent. If there was a first, there would be a second. These uncles and elders were not easy to mess with, so it was safest to keep quiet. Dongfang Chen didn't care about these things. Anyway, he was still trading according to the price he had set in advance, to avoid trouble. Even at this price, he was making a bloody profit. Moreover, wouldn't the crystal cores eventually return to his own pocket? This time, it was benefiting Yan Fangfang and the entire Southwest military region. What if the Northeast military region, the Northwest military region, and the Central military region also discovered the equipment and antigens? Would they all have to look for Yan Fangfang? In this way, Yan Fangfang could sit in the office and have a countless crystal cores flying towards her. She felt so good just thinking about it, thinking about when she was in the base. She almost harmed several people for a few crystal cores, and was almost kicked out of the base. She blushed. The boss is awesome. From beginning to end, he's like a carefree cloud, doing nothing. Sitting in the base every day, he can easily make the 5 military regions of China work for him. Amazing. March 23, 2055 AD. Night. Sichuan Province, Yundu City, urban area. A roar shook the sky as the roar ended. The dark and quiet urban area began to become restless. Thin rustling sounds and low growls emanated from the streets and alleys on the central square. A large-headed zombie stood there quietly, its eyes glowing with scarlet blood. Gradually, more and more zombies gathered towards it. Zombies were everywhere, surrounding the big guy in the middle. In about 3 hours, the square was densely packed with hundreds of thousands of zombies. If you look down from the sky, countless zombies were still gathering towards the central square. They seemed to feel some kind of call, as if on a pilgrimage. Then the big guy let out another hysterical roar. The zombies surrounding it received the induction and roared in unison, as if responding to it. After that, the big guy roared again and began to advance north. The zombies blocking the front took the initiative to make way. The zombies behind followed closely behind the big guy and walked north. It could be seen that they were brewing an action. Midnight, Sichuan Province, Yundu City, and in county headquarters of the Southwest military region. Woo woo woo, the sirens wailed. Yan Zhangping put on his clothes and walked out of the room. Guard, Yan Zhangping shouted. Here. The guard ran in a panic. What's going on outside? Yan Zhangping asked, reporting to the commander. It's not clear yet, the guard replied. Then, the phone in the office rang. Yan Zhangping walked into the office and picked up the phone. Hello, report commander. A large number of zombies have been found moving towards the military headquarters, the voice on the other end of the phone reported, his tone very urgent. How many? Yan Zhangping frowned. It hasn't been counted yet, but the conservative estimate is hundreds of thousands, the voice on the other end of the phone said. Hundreds of thousands. Yan Zhangping felt a chill down his spine when he heard this number. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. Level 3 Zombie. Orderly, Yan Zhangping shouted after hanging up the phone. Here, immediately order the 1st and 2nd Artillery Regiments to adjust their artillery muzzles, targeting the area 10 to 20 kilometers south of the military headquarters. Await orders to carry out a blanket bombardment. Order the 2nd, 3rd, 7th, 8th, and 9th Infantry Divisions to immediately return to defend. The 2nd and 3rd Divisions are to find favorable terrain on the 8-kilometer stretch of the road south of the military headquarters and construct the first line of defense. The 7th, 8th, and 9th Divisions are to find favorable terrain 4 kilometers away and construct the second line of defense. Order the tank battalion directly under the military headquarters to deploy all tanks on the road leading to the military headquarters to block the zombies in sections. Main combat tasks. First, provide fire support for the infantry divisions. Second, block the road and slow down the zombies' movement speed. Yes. Also, summon Rongpo to me. Yes. 5 minutes later, report, enter, reporting, Commander. The Xianfeng assault team is assembled and awaiting instructions. Rongpo shouted. Rongpo, how many people in our military headquarters are equipped with combat suits? Yan Zhangping asked, reporting, Commander. Currently, besides our Xianfeng assault team with 500 members, the 3 special forces regiments and 1 tank battalion, totaling over 3,300 people, are all equipped with combat suits, Rongpo said proudly. Wow. That many. Yan Zhangping was a little surprised. From mid-December last year until now, in just about 3 months, they had earned so many combat suits. That's because the surrounding counties have basically been cleared out, slowing down the progress. Otherwise, it would definitely be more than this, Rongpo said. Good. Excellent. Yan Zhangping happily slapped the table. Orderly, here, immediately order the 3 special forces regiments directly under the military headquarters to proceed to the front line and eliminate the zombies with all available firepower. Yes, Commander, if we do that, the military headquarters will have no defense. What if? Rongpo was a little worried. Isn't that why you guys are here? Yan Zhangping waved his hand. Yes, Rongpo said no more. The Xianfeng assault team, with its full strength of 500 people, should be enough to protect the commander. Report, enter, Commander, I request to join the battle. The person who came was Yan Fangfang. Nonsense. You just stay here with me. Yan Zhangping ignored her. I can do it, Yan Fangfang argued. Execute the order. Yan Zhangping had no time to deal with her right now. Yes, Yan Fangfang replied helplessly. The garrison locations of several divisions were not far from the military headquarters. This was also the entire armed force of the Sichuan province. The remaining troops had already been transferred to Liaoning in the northwest region for rest and reorganization. It was already late at night when the zombies walked from Yundu City to Ning County. At this time, the first line of defense had already been built. Many tanks were parked haphazardly on the road, all with their muzzles pointing straight ahead. Sichuan province was originally mountainous, with winding roads. Many trenches were dug crisscrossing the slopes on the side of the road, and the trenches were full of people. The 3 special forces regiments, wearing combat suits, were hidden behind the tanks on the road. Preparations were complete, and everyone hid and waited quietly, accompanied by flood-like roars. Densely packed zombies filled the road in the distance, and under the leadership of several leading zombies, they were approaching rapidly. 4 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers, when the zombies entered the bombing zone. Boom, 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 the artillery fire sounded where the shells exploded, flames burst out, limbs and broken arms flew, and flesh and blood splattered. The rolling airwaves directly blew away the surrounding zombies. After landing, those zombies stood up and continued to charge forward. Seeing the blocking army in front, the zombies became crazy. The leading zombie let out a loud roar, and countless zombies began to run towards the tank group. Boom, 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 ta, ta, ta. The tank group and heavy machine guns began to bombard and strafe, and the zombies rushing in the front kept falling down. The zombies behind stepped on the bodies on the ground and continued to rush forward. They were not aware of fear, and in their eyes, there was only tearing and devouring. The most terrifying were the leading behemoth and several slightly smaller zombies. They were not shattered by artillery shells, nor were they afraid of the rain of bullets. They were blown away, stood up, and continued to move forward. The soldiers of the Special Forces Regiment were seeing such a situation for the first time. Why? What kind of zombies are these? Why can't they be killed? Everyone had such questions. In fact, the leader was already a Tier 3 mutated zombie, and the 4 or 5 around it were Tier 2. The thick skin cocooned outside their bodies protected them from most of the damage. Furthermore, unlike humans, the zombie's body was just a shell used for walking. Unless there was a broken limb, being shot would not affect their movement at all. Closer, closer, under the leadership of the leading zombie, these zombies had approached the tank group. The soldiers in the trenches on the mountains on both sides of the road also began to attack, while the 3 special forces regiments, using the tanks as cover, began to retreat while attacking. Clang! The leading zombie directly slapped the tank, and the tank, weighing several tons, was actually knocked back several meters. What a powerful force! The soldiers who witnessed this scene were all surprised. The soldiers in the tank were also shaken and dazed by this blow. Chapter 97. Someone sneaked into the headquarters. After entering the tank formation, the leading Tier 3 zombie let out a deafening roar. Several Tier 2 zombies beside it seemed to receive a command, splitting into 2 groups and leading a portion of the zombies towards the mountain on either side. Damn it! Do zombies have intelligence? They even know how to divide their forces. The soldiers in the trenches on both sides of the mountain instantly felt their hair stand on end. Zombies aren't scary, zombies with intelligence are. They didn't dare hesitate and began attacking the heads of the zombies charging up the mountain. Waves of zombies fell, and waves of zombies continued to advance. They climbed too fast, and soon, zombies were infiltrating the trenches on the road. The 3 special forces regiments, although protected by combat suits, did not suffer any casualties. However, the combat power of the Tier 3 zombies was simply too strong, and the weapons in their hands had no effect. Soon, they were forced out of the tank zone. Retreat. Everyone retreat to the second line of defense. The division commanders of each division issued retreat orders through the intercom. The soldiers retreated from the trenches and ran towards the troop carriers behind the mountain. The soldiers who hadn't had time to retreat from the trenches were quickly submerged in the zombie tidal wave after the bombing of artillery shells and the obstruction of the first line of defense. 1/3 of the zombies also died. Every tank was surrounded by zombies, frantically attacking, but unable to penetrate the thick armor. As soon as the tank moved, it threw the zombies off, and those who moved slowly were crushed by the tracks at the same time. News of the first line of defense quickly returned to the military headquarters. Report, Commander, the first line of defense has been breached by zombies. Currently, the main force is retreating to the second line of defense. Zombies have entered the infantry positions, and it is estimated that more than 2,000 soldiers have been killed or bitten. There is another situation. The leading zombies have extremely strong attack power, and they seem to possess intelligence and can withstand our heavy firepower. Could it be Tier 3 zombies? Yan Fangfang said suspiciously after hearing the report. Tier 3 zombies. Yan Zhangping heard this for the first time. That's right. Boss told us during training that the skin of Tier 2 zombies will develop calluses. The callus skin is extremely hard and can withstand ordinary bullets. However, it still can't withstand the attack of more powerful artillery shells. But Tier 3 zombies are different. Not only is their skin more resilient than Tier 2 zombies, but they also possess a certain level of intelligence. Judging from the situation reported just now, the leading zombies are likely Tier 3 zombies, Yan Fangfang explained. Zombies can also advance. Yan Zhangping was dumbfounded. That's right, Yan Fangfang replied affirmatively. No wonder Zhuang Zhangyu said that the future war is a war of mutants. If Tier 3 zombies can withstand even heavy firepower, what about higher tier zombies? I can't imagine. Yan Zhangping suddenly thought of Zhuang Zhangyu's words and sighed. That sentence was probably said by the boss. Yan Fangfang corrected. What exactly is this Xiao Chen? Why does he know so much? Yan Zhangping couldn't understand this. Dongfang Chen knew the characteristics of the virus from the very beginning, could predict the future ecological crisis, and knew the existence of high-tier zombies at the beginning of the virus outbreak, and understood the characteristics of zombies at each stage. This is simply unbelievable. To be honest, I don't know either. At the time, I just had a feeling that perhaps only he has the ability to deal with this ecological crisis, Yan Fangfang said with emotion. Yan Zhangping nodded and said nothing more. It seems that he still needs to interact with Dongfang Chen more in the future. Orderly, here, issue orders to each division to concentrate their firepower to eliminate ordinary zombies while ensuring their own safety. Order the 3 special forces regiments to use the advantages of their combat suits to attract the attention of high-tier zombies, not necessarily to eliminate them, but to entangle them, buying time for other divisions to eliminate ordinary zombies. Also, add that if they cannot eliminate all the zombies, they should retreat to the military headquarters as soon as possible and must not defend to the death. Go. Yes, Commander, what do you mean? Yan Fangfang asked. The soldiers of each division do not have the protection of combat suits. The approach of zombies will inevitably cause a large number of casualties. This is a huge loss that we cannot afford. Instead of doing this, it is better to withdraw to the military headquarters and use the defensive capabilities of the walls to block them, Yan Zhangping explained. Yan Fangfang nodded. Bang, bang, bang. The father and daughter were talking in the office when they suddenly heard gunshots outside the door. What's going on? Yan Zhangping frowned at this time. The zombies were advancing towards the second line of defense, and it was impossible for zombies to enter the military headquarters. Bang, 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 bang. The gunshots became denser. Because it was in the corridor, it triggered an echo of the gunshots. Commander, enemies have infiltrated the headquarters. Rong Po hurriedly ran in to report. Are you sure it's people, not zombies? Yan Zhangping asked. I'm sure. They move nimbly and don't look like zombies, Rong Po said affirmatively. They are truly audacious. They dare to blatantly attack the headquarters. Let this Hanfeng commando try to capture them alive. I want to see what kind of monsters they are. Yan Zhangping slammed the table in anger. Yes, Rongbo took the order and left. You few, protect the commander here. The rest of you, follow me. Rongpo quickly made arrangements after going out. Chapter 98 Yan Fangfang's Superpowers. Yan Zhangping and Yan Fangfang stood in the office, listening quietly to the intense fighting outside. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, the door was kicked open, and several members of this Hanfeng commando team flew in, immediately collapsing to the ground unconscious. The two were stunned. Then, several people wearing dark red cloaks walked in, led by a man wearing a blood-red cloak. Who are you? Yan Zhangping reprimanded. Commander Yan, a pleasure to meet you. Sorry for meeting in this way. The man in the blood-red cloak at the front spoke, his voice strange. You are truly audacious, daring to break into the military region headquarters. Yan Zhangping continued to scold. Actually, I wanted to visit Commander Yan long ago, but your soldiers are too strong, so I had to make some extra preparations, the red-clad man said. So, those zombies outside were all brought here by you. Yan Zhangping realized, Commander Yan has sharp eyes, the red-clad man admitted directly. So, the zombies outside are just a smokescreen, and your real target is me. Yan Zhangping asked. That's right. What exactly is your purpose in coming here? Yan Zhangping continued to ask. That's a good question. We have two purposes in coming here, the red-clad man said. Then tell me, and I'll listen. Yan Zhangping appeared calm. Firstly, I hope Commander Yan can tell us where you got those black clothes your soldiers are wearing. The red-clad man stated his purpose. Impossible. Yan Zhangping refused directly. Secondly, I hope Commander Yan can join our Red Robe sect. The Holy Sun promises that as long as Commander Yan joins, he will definitely get a position as a holy envoy, the red-clad man said, not caring about his refusal. Red Robe sect? I think it's just a crooked cult. Yan Zhangping scorned. Commander Yan, don't be so quick to judge. Perhaps you don't know much about our Red Robe sect yet. Once you understand, you might change your mind, the red-clad man said unhurriedly. Oh? Then tell me, what's so special about it? Yan Zhangping wanted to get some information and also stall for time. Our Red Robe sect has a way to protect you from the threat of the virus. I wonder if that's attractive enough. The red-clad man believed he had a firm grasp on ordinary people's thoughts. People act for their own interests, or heaven and earth will punish them. No matter how high your position, you are still just a mortal. This trick always worked for him. PFFT Yan Fangfang couldn't help but burst out laughing. She thought, could your method be better than antigens? Presumably, this is your beloved daughter? Indeed, a beautiful woman. The red-clad man saw Yan Fangfang laugh and didn't mind. Nothing good comes out of a dog's mouth, Yan Fangfang said unhappily, her face cold. Commander Yan, I don't know if this is enough. The red-clad man didn't put Yan Fangfang in his eyes at all and had no interest in talking to her. If that's all you have, I'm afraid you won't be able to move me, Yan Zhangping replied. It seems Commander Yan has a big appetite. Why don't you tell us your conditions? The red-clad man said seemingly generously. I have no conditions. Hua Nation has always had zero tolerance for cult forces. Now you dare to openly attack the army, truly deserving of death, Yan Zhangping said. Haha. Commander Yan is truly humorous. Times have changed. Only the Red Robe sect can save those desperate people. I hope you don't make a mistake and harm yourself and others. The red-clad man said, seemingly earnestly. Nonsense. You are just a group of rats that can't see the light of day, yet now you dare to enter the hall. Saying things that sound grand, but you are just frogs in a well, making a fool of yourselves. Yan Zhangping's face was full of disdain. Then it seems there's nothing to talk about. The red-clad man was also unhappy. There's no question of talking or not. You are not worthy. Yan Zhangping directly shut down the conversation. Then I'm sorry, take Commander Yan away. The holy envoy turned to leave, and the red-clad men behind him rushed toward Yan Zhangping. Whoosh! Suddenly, a sharp, cold wind blew past, and the three red-clad men in front instantly turned into ice sculptures. Bang, 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 accompanied by sounds similar to glass shattering. The three red-clad men who had been frozen into ice sculptures were directly shattered. The people behind paused. It was Yan Fangfang who made the move. Her awakened ability was Ice Wind, a mutant. The leading red-clad man stopped and looked back at her in surprise. Dad, stand behind me. Yan Fangfang protected Yan Zhangping. Fangfang, you? Yan Zhangping was also stunned. His own daughter knows magic. Yan Zhangping felt it was so fake. wondering if he hadn't woken up yet. This feeling was like when Zhongzhen you first saw Luo use her ability not long ago. Dad, haven't I always been a mutant? Yan Fangfang explained, but Yan Zhangping knew that his daughter was a mutant, but he didn't know that mutants were so powerful. Little girl, you surprise me. No wonder you looked down on the conditions we offered. It turns out you are already a mutant. The red-clad man was a little excited. Yan Fangfang wanted to vomit. She was at least 30 years old, yet she was called a little girl by a disgusting man who didn't even show his face. Chapter 99 Tong Li comes to the rescue. You don't know half of it. My dad's right, you're just a bunch of frogs in a well, only good for making fools of yourselves, Yan Fangfang retorted. Looks like this trip wasn't in vain. You three, take her down, but be gentle. Don't hurt her, I want to offer her to the Holy Sun, the red-robed man ordered the three beside him. Yes, the three acknowledged and rushed towards Yan Fangfang. Yan Fangfang swiftly launched an ice wind towards the three, but this time it didn't freeze them. Instead, one of them directly shattered it, so strong, Yan Fangfang was shocked. Wolf! Just as the three were closing in, a dog suddenly appeared out of nowhere and pounced on them, interrupting their attack. Missing its mark, the dog immediately turned around and pounced again. This dog was none other than Yan Fangfang's mechanical dog. Yan Fangfang breathed a sigh of relief, but didn't dare to attack proactively, as she still had to protect her father. The mechanical dog had no vital signs and couldn't be injured. The three were temporarily unable to subdue it. However, a single dog certainly couldn't hold back three people. One of them was assigned to deal with the dog, while the other two freed themselves up to continue attacking Yan Fangfang. Yan Fangfang launched several more ice winds in succession, but unfortunately, the opponents were prepared and they had no effect whatsoever. Repeatedly using her abilities took a great toll on her stamina. She took out a pistol from her body and quickly fired. Clearly, the bullets only managed to stall them for 1 second, having no other effect. There was nothing she could do. The difference in strength was too great. The two successfully closed in and captured Yan Fangfang. That's right. Why bother with futile struggles? It wouldn't be good if you got hurt, the lead red-robed man said. Fangfang, Yan Zhangping shouted in alarm as he saw his daughter being captured. At the same time, the mechanical dog was finally smashed to pieces, turning into a pile of parts. It's actually a mechanical dog. The red-robed man was very curious when he saw this. The level of simulation is very high. Take this dog back with us later, the red-robed man instructed. Yes, the man who destroyed the mechanical dog replied. Commander Yan, see, you had to let it come to this. But this is good too, now we can sit down and talk peacefully, the red-robed man said to Yan Zhangping. HMPH. I'll say it again, you're just a bunch of rats who can't see the light of day, unworthy to talk to me, Yan Zhangping sternly refused. I believe Commander Yan will change his mind. Do it. Saying that, the red-robed man directly ordered. The red-robed man who finished off the mechanical dog understood, stepped forward, formed claws with both hands, and pushed forward horizontally. Two red curtains flew out from the cloak behind him, rotating into a cylinder, surrounding Yan Zhangping in the middle. Dad, Yan Fangfang shouted. She couldn't care about so much now, closed her eyes, and quickly activated the dog tag on her body. Hundreds of thousands of invisible nanobots swarmed out from the dog tag and flew towards the two who were controlling her. The two behind her noticed something was wrong, feeling their arms disappearing, but it was too late. In a matter of seconds, the two disappeared from the room. The lead red-robed man was stunned. What kind of method was this? What happened to those two? Yan Fangfang didn't dare to delay, and immediately ordered the nanobots to attack the red curtain. Unfortunately, only 1/3 of the red curtain was decomposed before the nanobots ran out of energy and had to return. But even so, it was enough. The man who released the red curtain saw the scene and quickly retracted it. At this time, Yan Zhangping had inhaled a lot of hallucinogens and directly fainted on the ground. What did you do to him? Yan Fangfang angrily questioned the remaining two red-robed men. Little girl, I'm becoming more and more curious about you. You have many secrets. How about we make a deal? The lead red-robed man said. What deal? Yan Fangfang asked. Come back to the red-robe cult with me, tell me your secrets, and as a condition of the deal, I can guarantee your father's safety, he said, using Yan Zhangping as a bargaining chip. Impossible, you can forget about it. Yan Fangfang directly refused. She had already contacted Dongfang Chen through her digital eye. Although it was very late, she had no other choice. Dongfang Chen was sleeping soundly when he was suddenly woken up, feeling a little unhappy. But when he saw the scene opposite him through the digital eye, he was instantly wide awake. Where are you? How did you encounter the red robe cult? Dongfang Chen asked. I'm at the military region headquarters. Yan Fangfang couldn't answer, so she could only send the message through text. The Red Robe cult is invading the Southwest Military Region headquarters. Are they that bold? Dongfang Chen found it unbelievable. It's not convenient to talk now. My dad fainted after being surrounded by the red curtain. Do you know why? Yan Fangfang sent the question. The red curtain releases hallucinogens, and people will faint after inhaling them, but it's not fatal. Dongfang Chen replied. Yan Fangfang breathed a sigh of relief when she heard Dongfang Chen's answer. So, the red-robed man in front of her was trying to trick her. Yan Fangfang, hold on a little longer. Twang Li has already arrived at the headquarters and will be there soon. Dongfang Chen said he originally wanted to see who was nearby who could support Yan Fangfang, but he didn't expect to find that Tong Li was at the Southwest Military Region headquarters when he checked, so he contacted him. Tong Li had been at the Enning resettlement in Yun City. The person Yan Fangfang saw standing in the mountains 2 months ago was Tong Li. After discovering the zombie army, he followed them all the way, but he didn't expect the target to be the Southwest Military Region headquarters, so he bypassed the zombies and headed straight to the headquarters. Chapter 100. The Holy Envoy was abandoned. Hearing Dongfang Chen's reminder, Yan Fangfang felt much more confident. It doesn't matter if you disagree, it's just that your father might have to suffer a little. The red-clothed man continued to threaten. It's just some hallucinogens. I can handle it, Yan Fangfang said, following Dongfang Chen's advice, preparing to stall for time. How do you know? The red-clothed man was surprised. I know more than you can imagine. If I'm not mistaken, your identity should be a holy envoy, right? Yan Fangfang continued. These words were all taught to her by Dongfang Chen. She was also absorbing this information as she spoke. You even know about holy envoys? The man was even more surprised. With just a few words, Yan Fangfang had already bluffed the red-clothed man. Not only do I know about holy envoys, but I also know about the spirit summoning technique. Yan Fangfang continued to drop bombs. Just who are you? How are you so clear about the affairs of the church? The red-clothed man was no longer calm. He knew that only someone of his level would know about the spirit summoning technique. In my opinion, your tricks are just child's play, nothing special. Yan Fangfang pretended to be profound, acting mysterious. Do you think you can scare me? The red-clothed man probed. Maybe, but let me tell you, the pills you eat, although they can allow you to resist the virus, also have great side effects. Yan Fangfang said. What did you say? The red-clothed man seemed visibly nervous. Dongfang Chen had previously learned from the holy envoy of the red-clothed sect that after taking a certain pill, they were able to resist the zombie virus. However, judging from their physical condition, there was definitely a price to pay, and he guessed that the side effects were definitely not small. Now you've become neither human nor ghost. I don't know what's so great about it, Yan Fangfang mocked. You, how do you know these things? This is impossible. The holy envoy was very shocked. I told you, I know far more than you can imagine. I'll quietly tell you, I can solve your physical problems. Yan Fangfang pretended to whisper. The holy envoy was stunned, and the only remaining subordinate wearing a dark red cloak next to him shuddered when he heard this. Seeing this situation, Yan Fangfang smiled smugly. With your appearance, you still want to fool people? Look, you've been fooled into lameness, right? Yan Fangfang thought, if she can really solve my physical problems, then this little girl's value is too great. The holy envoy thought, not only does he have this need, but who in the church doesn't have this need? They have become stronger, but this body that even they hate has become the greatest pain in their hearts. Look at me, while gaining strength, I'm also immune to the virus, right? If you can break away from the red-clothed sect and abandon darkness to embrace the light, maybe I can consider curing you. Yan Fangfang continued to bluff. The holy envoy didn't speak. Oh, right, you can too. Why don't you follow me? Following him has no future. I understand, you were infected with a virus and had no choice but to join the red-clothed sect. Now it's different, you have a better choice. Yan Fangfang saw that the holy envoy didn't speak, so she turned her head and started bluffing. The subordinate next to him, Dongfang Chen, had also guessed this. Last time, he discovered that the red-clothed sect's level of developing its forces was average, and everyone was just a miserable person persecuted by the virus. After hearing Yan Fangfang's words, the subordinate was a little tempted. He turned to look at the holy envoy, waiting for his attitude. How do you prove that what you said is true? The holy envoy asked. He wasn't wavering. He just wanted to confirm whether the words of the girl in front of him were true or false. I am the proof, and the person behind you can also prove it. Yan Fangfang pointed behind the holy envoy and said, What? Reminded by Yan Fangfeng's words, the holy envoy hurriedly looked back, but it was already too late. Under Dongfang Chen's reminder, Tuang Li decisively used the tag. The holy envoy fell to the ground with a thud, his feet instantly disintegrated. Then the nanomachines did not continue upwards, but crawled towards his two arms, disintegrating them as well. At this time, the holy envoy, without hands or feet, had become a useless person. He roared angrily, but no one paid him any attention. Much useful information could still be extracted from his mouth, so his life could not be taken for the time being. The holy envoy's subordinate had completely lost his fighting spirit at this time and decisively knelt down to surrender before long. Rongpo, who had been drawn away by the firepower, rushed back. Seeing this, Hanfeng assault team members lying all over the ground, cold sweat instantly broke out on his forehead. That was close, Rongpo thought. Commander, walking in, Rongpo saw Yan Xiangping lying on the desk and was startled, shouting loudly, "What are you yelling about?" "The commander is just unconscious," Yan Fangfang scolded. "Ah. Oh. That's good, that's good." Rongpo breathed a sigh of relief. "Call a few people to carry him down and lock him up. Guard him closely 24 hours a day. No one is allowed to approach." Yan Fangfang pointed at the holy envoy, who was roaring and shouting on the ground, and said, "Yes." Rongpo accepted the order. "What is your status in the red-clothed sect?" Yan Fangfang walked to the red-clothed man kneeling on the ground. At this time, the red-clothed man had been controlled by this Hanfeng assault team and was no longer a danger. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.